Good morning. It is a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn. He's Griffin. Coming up on the program, I'm to understand Drew Forrester will be stopping by. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, and I'm sorry in advance if it is. Also, a little bit later on, we'll talk some Orioles. ESPN's Jorge Castillo will join us. And we'll continue Fantasy Week. Michael Fabiano, SI, Sirius XM, among other locations. He'll check in with us as well as we continue to get you ready for what should be your fantasy draft weekend. And where it should be, which is at Sports and Social inside Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. It still seems like you are frustrated. You've been trying to coordinate. Nobody's... Stop it. Stop. Stop asking people their opinions. Stop. Hey, everybody good? Stop it. Just say, this is what we're doing. Somebody has to take control of the situation. There has to be an adult in the room. And you can be that adult in the room. All you got to do, go to PressBoxOnline.com/social and go ahead and register your league to draft at Sports and Social this weekend. Just tell them, here's where we're going to be, when, the whole thing. If somebody can't make it, they'll be missed. But it's not hard. You're going to get everything taken care of. Your choice of all-you-can-eat entrees. Drinks taken care of. And then you're going to get your custom draft kit. You're going to get a trophy for the whole league. I mean, it's a trophy for the champion of the league, but you know what I mean. Like, you can hold it until you have a champion. You will get a nice tip, a $75 gift card. All you got to do is go to PressBoxOnline.com/social. That's PressBoxOnline.com/social in order to sign up. All right. My apologies. Allergies kicking my ass this week. I hear it's going to be 180 degrees today. Great. Swell.
Really?
It's like a heat index.
Jeez. Ugh.
I feel like I'm choking. I woke up this morning and legitimately thought I was going to choke. It's awesome, man. God. Love me some seasonal allergies, baby. Let's go. Let's do speaking of let's go, let's go give out a man of the match, shall we?
Experience the thrill of the Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory, coming October 17th to 20th. See the world's best equestrians compete in the sport of eventing, the ultimate test of horse and rider. Enjoy a weekend festival featuring local food, shopping, and fun for all. Come for the event and stay for the experience in Cecil County, home to the Chesapeake Bay waterfront, vibrant small towns, and family entertainment. Tickets on sale now at maryland5star.us.
It's been a little while since we put a new face up on the board. I didn't know what his face looked like. I didn't know who he was. Matt Bowman, man of the match for last night. Give Brandon Hyde credit. I know Cole Irvin was pissed off when Brandon Hyde came out of the dugout, but...
You think Ramon's going to be upset that he's not the man of the match tonight?
I mean, he can be as upset as he wants. He's been great. Nobody's debating Ramon Arias, and he hit a huge home run. But when the game was on the line... And if you want one thing, I was completely good with Brandon Hyde going and getting Cole Irvin. In that moment, and we talk about this for the playoffs, that's a leverage spot. It doesn't matter that it's the fifth inning. That might be where, in fact, it almost damn near did turn out to be, where the game was at stake. Where it was the win or lose moment of the contest. And I thought, wow, Bowman, huh? I thought maybe you go and get one of your... Now, I get it. I don't know who you feel good about, and you were kind of playing matchups, but Mookie Betts coming to the plate. I don't know, man. I don't know that Matt Bowman's the guy that I'm turning to. That's the guy that the Orioles turned to, and he proceeded to give them 5 massive outs with the game at stake and bridge the gap between what Cole Irvin was able to do and get them into the back end of the bullpen and get them into Perez, Cano, and ultimately Dominguez. And I thought about Perez as well, turning around and getting a fourth out. I guess it was just Matt Bowman coming in the situation that he did, already in some trouble. That made me say I'll lean that way. I have no idea what to make of it. I have no idea if Matt Bowman's going to be on the team next week. I have no idea if Matt Bowman is really helpful or this was going to be his glorious moment as a Baltimore Oriole. They're bringing in something called a Nick Anderson, who I loved with the Orlando Magic. When he and Penny and Shaq and Scott Skiles were together, that was a team, baby.
They're bringing in that Nick Anderson?
They made it to the NBA Finals. And yeah, they got swept by the Rockets, but still, I mean, they put the Magic on the map. Nick Anderson apparently is the next arm they're going to go throw against a wall and see if it sticks. Matt Bowman is the man of the match.
Do you think is this just going to be the strategy the that they just keep following? They're going to find these random guys. They're going to have like 5 good outings. And then, all right, let's find the next one.
Well, if they can get 5 good outings out of them. Like, I don't know that Nick Anderson is going to take Birch Smith's spot. I can't say that definitively, but, I mean, I don't know that it would stun me if that were the case. I'm trying to think of who else's spot he could take right now. I don't know. I mean, I guess he could take Matt Bowman's spot, but
can't lose him.
Considering how he pitched last night, I don't think you're getting rid of Matt Bowman.
I guess you're not getting rid of one of your position players, but
you can't do that. You have to have 13 and 13.
Well, what if you say, yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
What?
I don't know. You say, well, maybe he'll hit sometimes.
No, it doesn't work that way.
I mean, they're not hitting Levon Soto anyway, so like,
and it does not work that way. You have to have 13 and 13. That's the way that the math works. I mean, I haven't even looked to see what the other options would be.
Birch Smith has an option apparently.
Right. So I mean, I wouldn't surprise me if it's Birch Smith. I get it. I thought it might have been Birch Smith. Oh, God, who did they need to get on the roster a little while ago that I thought it could be Birch Smith that would go for? And I think they that was when they chose Rogers instead.
Oh, yeah.
Look, man, I guess it will be Birch Smith that go. And I don't know when, because I think they said that he's going to go do like a rehab, Nick Anderson, before. But they want it. Like Rock said this morning, they want to get him on the roster soon. Okay. Or it could just be Cole Irvin if there's a world where Zach Eflin's about to return. Although then you need a roster spot for Zach Eflin, so I take that back. Take it back. It almost certainly has to be Birch Smith, unless he pitches tonight and then he looks great. And then I don't know. I don't know what you do. I have no idea.
If Birch Smith looks, I mean, he'd have to go. What would Birch Smith have to do tonight?
Matt Bowman. If he pulls a Matt Bowman tonight, then all of a sudden you're going to say, well,
five
I don't
outs,
know.
No base runners.
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't know what you do. Moral of the story is the Orioles get a big win. It doesn't make you feel great. It's not like the offense was spectacular. They did just enough, and those wins count too, particularly against good baseball teams. And so the Orioles got a win over a good baseball team, and it was even more helpful that it happened on a night where the Yankees lost to the Nationals. Salute. Appreciate you guys.
Dylan Cruz, thank you.
All in. Nationals tried to give that one away, too. They were late in the game. They were like, defense. What? Nah. We're good. We'll pass. No, thank you. So ultimately, the Orioles move back within a game of first place in the AL East. You don't feel great about anything, but that's where you are, and we can only continue to say the same things over and over and over and over and over again. The Orioles got an important win, and one that felt like a playoff game last night. I got a 1 a.m. text from our friend Josh Charles about that.
What time zone is he in?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know the answer to that question. He was that was tense. Just finally relaxed my butt cheeks.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, we all felt the same way. It felt like a playoff game. That's why I appreciated Brandon Hyde managing it the way that he did. I really did wonder if he was going to pull Dominguez in the 9th inning, but who the hell are you turning to at that point? Like
30 pitches.
My God. Yeah, 30 pitches.
My fantasy team thanks him for leaving him out there.
Right. Finish the save. That doesn't. But he's definitely unavailable tonight.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, maybe for a batter he could be available. Like, I don't know.
No. Well.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know who else. You got to pitch somebody.
That'd be cool then if they're up by like a run. He gets like
right?
a one-pitch save.
Yeah, that would be great for you.
That'd
be really good for you if it worked out that way. But I don't know if he's going to be available. Orioles continue the series with the Dodgers tonight, and Corbin Burns is on the mound, which in a past life was good. More recently, yikes. And I don't know, like, this is the thing. There's no what do you, like, if this one were to go wrong tonight, there's no, well, how do you respond to it? You respond to it by throwing him back out there again next week. That's the way it goes with Corbin Burns as you try to figure out what's going on recently. Walker Buehler, who when you hear that name, you're like, oh, no. But Walker Buehler has not been good.
No, he hasn't. My fantasy team knows that as well.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Who would have thought that the guy that would have been helpful was Sir Anthony Dominguez, and the guy that was not helpful was Walker Buehler. What a world we live in. Baseball, huh? Fun sport. Fun sport. Walker Buehler hasn't even made 5 innings since before the injury, back on June 12th. He's made 2 starts since returning.
Does he have a quality start this season?
Oh, there's a good question.
Yeah, I don't think he does.
On May 18th, he went 6 shutout innings against the Cincinnati Reds with 7 strikeouts.
There was one in there.
Technically, on May 31st, he gave up 4 runs, but one of them was not earned.
Gotcha.
So against the Rockies, he had a quality start. He has not had a quality start since May 31st. But again, he's only made 5 starts since then because he was hurt. Hopefully, tonight's not the night where he figures everything out and becomes Walker Buehler again. And offensively, the Orioles just got to keep grinding it out, baby. Grinding it out. Like they actually had traffic last night. They actually got some things going. They didn't capitalize on those opportunities. That's one of the problems that we've dealt with the Orioles this season is capitalizing on opportunities. But it wasn't like it was an anemic. This wasn't, winning with 3 hits against the Red Sox 2 Sundays ago, or like then they had 2 hits this past Sunday. They had 7 hits last night. They put runners on base last night. They did. I want to say they were wildly productive. They were not. But then they were once again 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Now, Dodgers are good. But this is a problem that the Orioles have dealt with. 0 for 6 last night with runners in scoring position, including leaving a few guys on. Was it 1 out? In the what inning? God, sorry.
It's a late night.
Yeah, it was a late night. Thank you for that. Thank you for the defense.
There's no relief. They're just 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10.
Oh, yeah. Why isn't Thursday an afternoon game? What the hell is that all about?
I guess because they're...
God. Can only do this so much. Maybe they were trying to show respect to the Loyola soccer match after broadcast. They were like, we know Glenn wants to watch. So we're going to wait until after the soccer match, and then we'll start the game. And I say thank you.
Should be a big one tonight. Shohei bobblehead.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
How funny is it him just going up there on the first pitch? Like
I know. I mean,
not wasting any time at all. Just like, dude, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. And then the center that Cole Irvin left up there that he miraculously popped up instead of crushing 600 feet. I mean, a center cut. You're like, oh, God. Yikes. It was the oh no, they didn't really. I guess in the 8th inning they only had the 1 runner on. That was Jimenez. And they only had the 1 runner on. I thought there was an inning where they had 2 runners on.
There was multiple where like
I thought they left 2. Again, it all runs together, dog. It all runs together.
Because they had
it was the 3rd inning and it was Gunnar. Boy, I said I thought it was late. It was just because it was late time-wise. It was the 3rd inning. Colton Cowser walked, and then Adley Rutschman had that single that, as they pointed out in the broadcast, you feel like Mookie Betts maybe could have made a play on, just sort of decided to pull up, like kind of made the professional decision of I'm not going to dive for this ball and play it into a run. I'm just going to give up the single. There's 2 outs, and I'll trust that he can go get Gunnar Henderson, and that's exactly what he did in that spot. But ultimately, the Orioles win. I just want to keep being positive about this. The Orioles won last night. They won a baseball game against a very good team on the road that felt like a playoff game and required some playoff-like decision-making. It doesn't suddenly make you say, the Orioles are back, baby. But that matters. That matters. And if they can clinch a series win on the road against the Dodgers, that would be another kind of feather in their cap. We'll see. I don't have great faith about it, but we'll see. And then I see that Jacob Webb is starting a rehab assignment. So there you go. All these things they have going for them. Look at that. All right, so that's the one side of the conversation. That's the Orioles side of things as they get a big win last night. The other, of course, big news from yesterday, the Ravens do indeed set their initial 53-man roster, and you never know what to make of that because then one day later you hear that they're hosting Lawrence Guy for a visit, and you're like, okay, sure. Sure you are. As everyone said, what this team needs is more defensive linemen. That was the one area where we said they could really use some help. It's one more defensive lineman. That's what they need. But I like Lawrence Guy. I think he's a quality football player. I'm not angry about it if that's what they bring in. It's just that I'm not sure what the corresponding move is. Nothing stunning about the Ravens' 53-man roster. Nothing, whoa, I never saw that coming. The bummer, of course, is that the Pepe Williams news was not because they were going to be able to avoid Arthur Millette starting the season on IR. It was because they wanted to keep both Beau Brade and Sanusi Kane. I think a lot of people believe that the two of them were battling it out for one roster spot. Turns out, not at all. And the Ravens have a lot of safeties. They have a lot of safeties on their roster.
And I guess they'll be playing a lot of nickel.
I guess. Or they're, they carved out a particular special teams role. That's the reason why they're on the team. So that was one thing that stood out, was that I don't think many people believe that both Kane and it's a bit surprising that Pepe Williams is gone, someone with experience, in favor of two rookies, one a very late round pick, the other undrafted. But it's supposed to be a meritocracy, and if the Ravens decided that those are the two better options, then so it is. At the moment, Rasheen Ali is on the team. Would that have been Owen Wright's roster spot? We'll never know. Will Rasheen Ali continue to be on the team going into next week in Kansas City? Again, I don't know. I think a lot of us believe that they could be in the market for a veteran running back or some sort of running back help. I don't even – he's smiling. He's – God knows. That is a lovely pink shirt, though. Look at how the shirt matches the mic screen. Look at you. Look at you.
Well, this is an off pink.
What do you mean it's off pink?
That's pink.
That's light pink.
Sorry I'm late. I was at the reunion tailgate.
The reunion tailgate? What's going on?
The big salmon. That's correct. It's salmon. You should know that.
Sure. Should I? Yeah. What reunion tailgate were you at?
The Oasis tour. They have
yeah.
tailgate up in Towson.
Yeah, are they? You're very
Everybody
excited.
got
Don't shoot your wad, 'cause it's coming up on Would You Rather Wednesday. Don't waste the material.
On what?
On anything you got on the Gallagher brothers. Don't waste it. It's coming up on Would You Rather Wednesday.
I'm so excited.
All right.
I would even think about going over there.
How much would that cost? Just for a ticket.
Oh, you mean for the show?
Yeah.
Forget getting over there.
You just want to go to be in the country?
I want to go over there and go to the show.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How much do you think a ticket's going to cost?
Where are they playing? Stadiums?
Yeah.
You can get in for £100.
I don't even know what that means.
$175.
Okay. I don't.
Is that the
You
conversion
could
rate?
sit in the upper deck.
Sure. I mean, yeah.
But
I
you don't
would
want to
think.
sit in the upper deck. If you
No,
want
no. I mean, right.
a real ticket to see Oasis next summer.
250 pounds. 300.
What is that in real money?
But you got to pay it in pounds.
What is it in real money?
450.
Thank you. What are you a conversion expert?
100 pounds
Where
is
did that come
132.
from?
So there you go, 132. So there you go. So $132.
You're annoying.
I would
You're
think about
annoying.
going.
All right,
But don't you think they're going to come over
Save
here?
it. I don't know. Maybe. Do I? Save it. We'll talk about it later.
Let's talk sports.
We'll talk about it later.
How about that win last night?
What do you have? We spent a lot of time talking
Woo.
about that. Yeah, you're gonna say for the Nationals.
You got to. Did you want Ohtani to come up? I did.
No, dude, you want Ohtani to come up?
Sure.
Not a chance in hell.
To see him hit one into the.
Not a chance in hell did I want to see Ohtani
all the way down
up
to
there.
Santa Monica.
I mean, he didn't do that. Cole Irvin left one in the middle of the plate, and he didn't do
Popped
that.
it straight up.
Popped it right up in the air.
I almost checked out when they didn't give Colton Cowser an error. I was so pissed. I almost stopped watching.
You get very worked up.
Oh, I can't stand it. You think
very
I get
worked
mad
up
about the
these
umpires.
things.
When they don't give these guys errors, it drives me insane. Insane. I just can't. I can't get over how they don't give these Major League Baseball players errors.
Well, did he actually touch the ball?
He didn't. Maybe not, because it went through his legs.
Right.
And
I
it's
think
a
I
joke.
think that's the rule. The rule is if it doesn't touch someone, you
it's-
can't give them an error.
It's
on it.
unbelievable that they won't give these guys errors.
It did. In his defense.
Oh,
ball,
please.
No. Stop it. That ball had slowed down. All of a sudden, it hits off the wall, and it
Okay.
juts out at about 50 miles
Ethan
an hour
would've-
afterwards.
Ethan
no, he
would've
wouldn't
fielded
have.
that.
I've seen him.
Ethan's pretty adept.
I've seen his act. I've seen him.
Just drives me nuts. Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else you got?
it was a heck of a game.
Just gonna let you work through everything
No,
you
it
got
was
to
a heck
say.
of a game.
I'm gonna put. You can put your feet up on the couch. You work through
It
whatever
was
you
a
want to
heck
work
of a
through.
game.
And
What
then
do
I'll
we got
get back
today?
to
What do we got going on?
nothing. What do you mean nothing?
I mean,
what do we
don't
have going on?
We better. I mean, we're talking sports here.
Are we?
Let's go.
I had gone through the Orioles game last night, and then I was.
Somebody
on,
sent me a text and said,
we go.
"You
There we go.
want to do a old radio station documentary?"
No, I don't want to do it.
Oh.
Not a chance in hell.
Oh, someone sent me a.
I've been approached about it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Somebody sent me a. I'll pull the text up.
Was it
Well, doesn't
Pete?
matter. No. Just a friend of mine said your buddy Glenn wants to do a documentary.
No, I sure as hell do not want to do it.
Okay.
Not a chance.
Oh, then he misunderstood.
I was approached about it.
You want to
Okay.
be part of it.
No. I don't have any.
So like a 30 for 30.
So okay. Last week,
All right.
you reminded us that the radio station died 10 years ago.
Right.
So I have no interest in talking about to me, the sadness it was the best day that could ever happen to me was the day the radio station died. I needed to leave that.
It was a Don McLean song, wasn't it?
Yeah,
American
the
Pie?
radio, the
Right.
day, the radio station
Right.
died. I needed to get out of there. I mean,
Okay,
it was
right,
horrible
but
for me.
Tell me about the documentary.
So I brought up just if I have a sadness, it's that once upon a time, that place did matter. Like once upon a time, that was a special place. As I've said before, I started over at 105.7.
Well, no one else was doing anything in sports radio at that point, really.
No. They were. It wasn't like that. There was a difference between corporate. I was working in corporate sports radio. It sucked. What was happening?
What year are you talking about now? 06?
06,
07.
yeah, 07. Those
Okay.
from
Okay.
when it was humming,
Right.
when it was
Right.
I was over at another radio station wishing that I was at that one because it was more fun.
Yeah, but that station you were at wasn't a sports station.
No, I was at both. I was both at 105.7 and
But
at
but 105.7 wasn't even a sports station.
1300 was a sports station.
Gotcha.
I was there
Gotcha.
doing afternoons, and it was miserable.
Yeah, you were terrible.
I remember.
Right.
I was, actually. He's not right about a lot of things. I was.
Go ahead.
I was also like
Just
20.
tell me about the documentary and how much am I getting for it?
Would you settle down for a second?
I need money. My kids are
So
in private school.
I post a thing about my sadness about the radio station.
Okay.
Not about me, just about
All right.
I'm sad that
Those were the days.
that ended because it was special and the whole thing.
All in the family.
And all of a sudden it picks up. It's getting shared and Meta AI is putting it out there like it's going all. And so Rob calls and says, "Dude, can you come on Friday morning and let's do a thing?" And so we end up doing multiple segments on the show on Friday morning. And then a couple of people reach out to me after that and say, "Would you think about being a part of a project if we found the right people to do it?" Pete Eibner was one of them who was very invested in the idea of doing this. And I said, "I don't think it's possible. I just don't think it can be done." I said,
What do you mean it can't be done?
But and Jeremy had a conversation with a couple of these people as well. I think the problem is you have to involve him, and the moment you involve him, it's nothing but gaslighting. And so I don't know how you can do it. I don't know. I don't think you can do it without his involvement, but his involvement immediately gaslights the entire thing and rewrites the history. And
So That's an interesting. I never thought of that. So that's an interesting tentacle to it.
I don't think it's. I just don't think it's possible.
It would be like doing the history of the WWE and not having Vince McMahon.
Correct. But I don't think that as bad of a person as Vince McMahon is, I don't think Vince McMahon would gaslight as much as he would spin. That dude is going to gaslight. Like, he's just going to flatly – I mean, he never existed in reality. So I just don't think it's possible to do something because
So you're saying that you couldn't do this I'll make it up.
Right.
1 hour show, not include him, and accurately tell.
No, I don't think that would be.
You can't do that. You're saying it's not ethically right, or that you don't think the story would be portrayed.
If you wanted to do if somebody said to me, as an outsider, you're going to make a documentary about the old radio station, it would require that. Like, you couldn't, if you, as a viewer. I think I agree with you. As a viewer, you watched it and it didn't, you'd say, dude, what the F?
I think I agree with you. That you would have to have him included.
But his involvement immediately takes out any ability to, like, how do you argue with a moving target? You know what I mean? It's the gaslighting. I don't think it can be done.
You guys love those buzzwords, gaslighting.
But kids. That's what it is. Right. It's the completely detaching from fact or reality. The rest of us would tell good stories. The rest of us would be able to portray everything. And then the moment that he was involved, it would somehow become a story of a king or what. I don't know what it would be. It would be detached from anything.
You already know what it would be. I lost my press credential. I mean, you know all the other things it would
But nobody cares about that.
Right. And and all that stuff doesn't have anything to do with the radio station.
Right.
So anyway, all right. So that's the story.
So the answer is no.
What if his testimonial or whatever is saved till the end of this? You know, this.
I just
not real.
I'm telling you, I don't think I would be involved. And I also have the other thing too. Truthfully, and this is the part that I keep telling people, I have no interest in talking about him. None. Like he is an extraordinarily irrelevant human being. And
well, then don't talk about him. You talk about what the things you liked.
I agree with that, but that's the problem. If you do a documentary, the person that's going to be involved is going to want to ask you about it. And I have no interest.
Well, that's true.
None.
I mean, that is true. I mean, at some point you would have to.
And that was what bothered me, is this thing was getting, as this post that I put up was spreading, and they were sharing it out on AI. So, like, the comments were regularly, I had no interest in talking about him. I was talking about the special radio station that existed and the culture and the force that it was. I had no interest in a conversation about that person. I just don't care. Like, it's an irrelevant human. So that's where I'm like,
It's funny today when you see, and I watched one of them last night for about 4 minutes until I'm like, you guys got $20,000 worth of equipment here and you don't have a brain in your head, neither one of you. It's amazing how much when you watch these podcasts of people who in some way, shape, or form consider themselves to be experts, and it's exactly what we did 20 years ago.
Right.
It's exactly what we did, except we did it on the radio.
Right.
And we were invested in it, and even to the detriment of our own health and our own families, we immersed ourselves in sports, and we were doing this 25 years ago in a $180,000 house over there on Hart Road with all kinds of rodents and snakes in it.
And when something interesting happened, we would
living in it.
We would drive back to the radio station. Like, it was all hands on deck at all times.
Right.
We were that invested in the product being good.
Now people get in their basement and they buy a $2,000 light set and mixing board, and they're experts.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
That's the way that it works.
Yeah,
that's the way that that's the way it goes. You have a website.
So no documentary then.
You find
How much
somebody.
We getting? We getting $100,000 each?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think there's $100,000 total.
Yeah, I mean, we're not breaking any stories.
I think you're gonna get paid about as much as you got paid to go to appearances when you worked at the radio station.
I don't even think that restaurant's open anymore.
Correct.
Where we used to get the gift cards for. And the good news is I would finally be able to tell the Ed Reed story.
That's what you want to tell
it now, right? Because isn't he in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, he's.
What damage could I do to
also,
Ed?
Let's be fair. Nobody cares about those things.
Yeah,
anymore.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
And what damage could I do to Ed?
I've pretty much, I've without saying it, said it many times over the years.
I mean, when they finally got there at 10 of 9, an hour and 20 minutes late, and they opened the doors, it was just like Fast Times at Ridgemont High. The entire car, smoke came out of that car for like 8 seconds while the three of them rolled out of the car like Spicoli.
I remember when
oh my god,
somebody got busted for smoking weed, and like people were calling in, and I was like, you understand that every football player smokes weed,
oh my
right?
god,
Like every single one. Do you understand that all of them
remember,
do this?
I'll never forget the next day the boss said, we just got a $400. What did those guys eat last night? We just got a $400 bill from the barn. I said, well, Ed ate $300 worth of stuff by himself.
Hey man,
Ed ate so many shrimp and mussels and
said food was on us.
oh my god,
that's what we said. That's the way that it goes. All right. Yeah, we were talking about the Ravens roster, which wasn't very. I'm sure you have tons of thoughts about. I'm sure you have a deep breakdown about.
Did
the
Steve
Ravens
Smith make the team or not?
Not this year.
He didn't.
Not this year. He didn't make.
Were
the
there
team.
any surprises?
No, not really. I mean,
Okay.
mild would be.
Nobody got cut of note. Brent Urban's on the team still, right?
For today.
He was the one
Yeah.
guy everybody
Well,
thought.
but even if he had been cut, it would just have been cut to bring back tomorrow.
Okay.
Like that's.
But he survived.
There's a Brent Urban game they play every year.
Right.
They cut Pepe Williams and put 2 rookie safeties on the team. That was a little surprising, but not. Like it's not like anybody was like, "Whoa, Pepe Williams." It was mildly.
Did they
surprising.
finally get rid of Ishmael's kid?
Did they finally get rid of him? What's your beef?
What's up, Q?
Yeah, what's your beef? What did he do to you? Did he beat you in golf or something?
Nah.
What happened?
Just playing around.
What?
Playing
Oh
around.
man, he does have some people that he comes hard after, though. Oh, Kadri's become a different man recently.
Has he?
Let me tell you somebody that he caught on, like, just went after on this show not that long ago. Went after. Just tore him.
Oh. Well, he's a pretty prominent name up in Harford County.
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
Yeah, went after him.
Oh, my gosh. Didn't you and I have a problem with him once about something?
I was always good with. I think I've always been good with him.
I thought we had an issue up there.
No, we had the issue with the North Hartford guy.
Maybe-
North Hartford guy was the guy.
Maybe that's who I.
We started a week-long news cycle.
You know what I would say?
Fight with North Hartford.
I would say if we were going to go back and talk about like the top 5 things we ever did at the old station,
Yeah.
like if we were doing a documentary and you said, okay, what are the top 5 things?
Yeah. Drew's really pressing this documentary.
No.
He's
Well, I'm trying to get $100
He's
grand.
convinced that he's going to get some craft services out of this.
Right.
Somehow.
You think HBO's going to pick this up?
Yeah. Well, we told all the stories.
One of them would be I don't think you were part of this. I'm trying to remember who was, or maybe you were.
I was.
One
not
of them
part
was
of the
part of the
Cowboy-
mock trial.
The mock. Oh, the
for Peter.
Yeah.
I don't think
was
you were
not
with
there.
me.
I was
then.
not there then.
We did a mock trial with Peter that did not go over very well.
Yeah.
With the baseball team.
Yeah.
One of them definitely was you and I getting an entire week in the middle of the summer.
An entire week. We did content for everybody else.
This is when the Orioles. This was always
Barbalace brought this up. But
this was the collateral damage.
I don't know if you know
of the Orioles being no good every year.
Barbalace was a big listener.
Okay.
And so this came up last night where we were like, look, man, I know it's been tough with the Orioles, but, it could be a lot worse. And Tim's like, yeah, think about all those summers that you guys were trying to desperately come up with content over there. I said, desperately.
We did an entire week.
1 week.
On
4 hours a day. 20 hours. And I'm telling you.
And it was, I thought it was actually good.
Bled into, we had multiple guests come on the show to talk about it. We did hits on TV stations discussing the topic.
We almost closed the school down. I mean, the school almost had to close down because of us. I just remember screaming into the microphone when that principal had called in and voiced her complaints.
For people that don't remember, North Hartford High School did a charity basketball game that was like a group of
teachers and faculty.
Right. That were going to play against members of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And this was at the height of Raven Steelers.
Yeah.
At the height.
This is still Ray Lewis and Jerome Bettis and Hines Ward.
Joey Porter
and Todd Heap.
Right.
And
Joey Porter was on the bus that came here.
So I want to say our boy Charlie Batch was part of this, whatever the roster was that went.
Okay.
This was a thing. It's so impossible to explain. Football teams used to have charity basketball teams. Straight shoot.
Right.
My parents' church brought in both the New York Giants basketball team and the Washington Redskins basketball team to play charity basketball games over the years. There's no way that someone Griffin's age could understand this.
Right.
But this still existed in whatever year this would have been, 08, 09, something like that.
Maybe even earlier than that, but in that range.
Whatever year it was.
07, 08, 09.
This still existed. I didn't move back till 08. It had to be 08.
Okay.
08 or 09.
Yeah. So they brought the Steelers to Harford County,
and
albeit North Harford.
Very innocuously.
Oh, no one knew about it.
No one
except
knew
up there
ahead of time. But when somebody called,
and somebody called and tipped us off.
It wasn't like
said, you know what's going on up
we
here?
We like everything else we did. We had no plan.
Yeah,
we had no.
Somebody called and said, "You know what's going on up here tonight?"
Yeah.
And you're on the other side of the glass, and you come walking over, and you're like, "Take a break."
Yeah.
And I'm okay. I thought like there had been a shooting or something. Right? I take a break, and you're like, "I got a doozy for you."
Yeah.
Because it's 7:30 in the morning, and
Orioles we're already out of.
Orioles lose again last night, 11-2 to the Twins.
By 7:30, we're already out of content.
Right.
By that point, I had to book guests from 8 to 10 that were all like, "Let's talk about Towson football for a segment."
Right. So you're like, "I got a doozy for you. I think we can get something out of this." And I'm like, "Okay, go ahead. I'll do it when we come back." And then you come back on the air. I'll never forget. You go, "Let me ask you a question."
Yeah.
What would you say? Now what would you say if I told you that the Pittsburgh Steelers were in Harford County tonight playing in a basketball game? And from that point on, the whole rest of the week was done.
The week. We didn't get into another topic all week.
And we just absolutely annihilated them.
By the next day, I remember Rob Carlin calling me and being like,
Can I
come over? I need to shoot some footage. I was like, shoot some footage of what? He's like, the thing. I'm like, what? He had to come over and just shoot B-roll about the controversy that we had started between and then, by the way, I was getting death threats from people in North Harford County.
Right.
How dare you?
Right.
How dare you?
What's wrong with you people?
And I believe Ken Brinkman went on to get, like, he might have even had the John Carroll job at one point. I mean, he had, I know he didn't, that wasn't his last job. Ken Brinkman's a good man. If you say so.
Like he might be, but he brought the Steelers.
Brought the Steelers to Harford County. We made the county executive from Harford County
call him and apologize.
Call into the show and apologize and reiterate that it was we wouldn't let him off the air.
Are you going to apologize?
Drew
you going to apologize or not?
Drew did all that and was about to hang up, and I said, I need you to state declaratively that Harford County is Ravens country. And he like hemmed for a second. He's like, well, and there are some Steelers fans in North Harford County, but we were not having it. With the Harford County executive, we said, you need to declaratively state Harford County is Ravens country. And he said, all right.
The other funny part, so that those two are there. The other funny thing is, and I don't remember, that I thought the dog's name might have been Bobo. Oh. Do you remember the dogs that used to wander into the dogs that would wander into the studio?
Jeremy reminded me there was a deer.
A deer?
Well, I just walked in one morning and there was a deer in.
I remember that dog. I think that dog's name was Bobo.
Right.
And I would be sitting there, and it would walk into the studio.
Well, we would leave the door open because, it was 1 billion degrees.
Right. That dog walked into the studio. I'm like, there's a dog here. And the guy would walk in while I'm on the air. Hey. He's like, is my dog in here? I'm like, I'm on the air.
So All Time Low was in town this weekend.
Okay.
Right? And Zach came and did the show last night with Rita and I. Right? And when he left, he was like, oh, that was my first time, like, really co-hosting a real radio show. And I looked at him like, you co-hosted my show a couple of times.
Right.
He was like, yeah, but like this is a little more
Professional.
And I was like, you know what? I get it. I get what you're saying.
Right.
I understand.
We had the dog. We had the guy walked up from
Human.
downstairs.
Hey,
How's it going? Hey, I'm John. Like,
there's a person there.
how's it going, John?
You have any knowledge of what? Do you remember Ryan Shell's first day? Do you remember him just wandering directly into the? He was coming to intern.
Okay.
Ryan Shell, who's gone on to work in radio for years. Ryan Shell was coming to intern for us. I think he was interning at the Carroll County Times for Aaron Wilson, and I was like, all right, well, you can come over here and make the exact same amount.
Yeah, right.
And so he wanders in and just walks right into the studio. Drew's in the middle of the show. He walks right into the main studio and starts talking. Drew's, God knows what we're doing on the show at that point.
Right.
I don't know what we're doing.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Ryan.
Yeah, I'm here for and Drew just starts laughing. Like, can you deal with this? Can you?
That was
I'm
something.
like, what the hell is this guy doing?
That was something.
Oh, also, I used to do a bit where I would have one of my favorite bits was for new employees and interns. Friday was mandatory dress-up day. I would say, hey, you know how other radio stations have casual or they have casual Fridays? Oh man, I should bring this bit back. I would say, most offices have casual Fridays. So since every day is casual for us, we actually do the opposite. And on Fridays we do a formal day. Like just because we think it's good, we present ourselves well, and all of them, every single one of them, their first Friday, show up in a full suit.
I love it.
Full.
I remember Terry.
Oh God.
Terry would say to that kid, would send him down to Royal Farms. Terry would say, "Get a 20-ounce coffee, put a little bit of cream in it, just a little, and then take the sugar and turn it over and count to 10. Not 5, not 8. Turn the sugar over and count to 10." And when the kid would bring it back, Terry would always go, "Not enough sugar." Not enough sugar. Those were the days.
So for this documentary to work, where can we get the archives of all these?
happening.
We're going to need audio.
They don't
it's
exist. I don't think they exist anymore. That would require.
And then you weren't on the Miami trip, but the first Super Bowl that I went on, the Miami trip, where we
I've heard plenty of stories about some young guy.
where we went up to the 14th floor,
Yeah.
and this
Yeah.
was an interesting place.
Yeah.
Let's just say.
I heard all about that.
Had a Murphy bed
Yeah.
and a bedroom,
Uh-huh.
and we had 6 of us.
Yeah.
And
Well,
we slept on like the shelving of
Yeah.
the place.
Yeah.
Ray and I were just talking about that.
All right. When we come back in, we'll play Would You Rather Wednesday. Drew Forrester
Yes.
is here. Drew'sMorningDish.com, which celebrated its 10th anniversary.
How about that?
How about that?
10 years.
10 years. And look at all the progress you've made.
Rolling.
We'll talk about Would You Rather Wednesday next. Glenn Clark Radio.
Escape to Ocean City, Maryland, and discover a place that just feels lighter, where every day feels like Saturday, and French fries are a food group, where flip-flops are always in fashion, and seafood is always in season, where the boardwalk is bustling, and the beach is right outside your door, where you can rise with the tide and feel like a kid again. Ocean City, Maryland, somewhere to smile about. Book your trip at OCOcean.com.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
We've all experienced it before. The fantasy football draft from hell. Your buddy says you can do it at his house, but he never asks his wife. She's screaming at him the whole time and forces you guys to sit outside in the unforgiving heat. Then everyone brings the exact same store-bought 7-layer dip, and somehow you accidentally draft someone named LeVar Jackson because your brain can't function in these circumstances. Don't cop out and just move your draft online this year. Let Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel handle everything for you. Book your draft party complete with your choice of all-you-can-eat entrees, drinks, and custom draft kits for the whole league, plus a custom trophy for your champion and a $75 gift card for the commish. Visit PressBoxOnline.com/social. That's PressBoxOnline.com/social, and never have a fantasy draft from hell again.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
Frederick Keys Baseball is back. With 30 more home games beginning on July 2nd, the Keys are excited to welcome you back to Nimio Field at Harry Grove Stadium. We want to see you there. Countless promotions will be on display every game, with it ranging from Tap House Tuesdays to Firework Fridays and everything in between. For more information or to buy tickets, call 301-815-9939 or visit FrederickKeys.com today.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. There, you just saved money with Easy Pass, all without slowing or receiving a notice in the mail. Well done, thrifty driver, well done. Get your Easy Pass at DriveEasyMD.com.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
If the Ravens are in the market for a veteran running back, it won't be Dalvin Cook. He is headed to Dallas after making a 5-minute appearance in Baltimore last season. One day we're going to do the bit where you have to name all of the running backs, the veteran running backs the Ravens had on their roster in the last 10 years. And I'll get 5 of them.
You'll get more than that.
I don't know, man.
Mike Davis.
I don't know that if before you had said Mike Davis that I would have remembered Mike Davis. Latavius I remember. Kenyon Drake I remember. Le'Veon obviously.
What year?
Over the last 10 years.
Any year.
10 years. All the veteran running backs the Ravens.
Justin Forsett, does that count? Is that 10 years? Yeah. No. Because he was actually good. He doesn't count.
It feels like he was a Raven.
Hold on.
It doesn't feel like.
Freeman?
Who?
Yeah,
Devontae
Devontae
Freeman. I
Freeman.
definitely would have forgotten about
Devontae
Devontae Freeman. 100%. That would have not. All right. We don't need to keep doing this.
Oh, I thought
This
we
was
were
not-
doing it. I
No,
thought
I'm
it was
saying that
part of the game.
No, that was not part of
Would
the
you
game.
rather?
Have you prepared the game yet, by the way?
I'm not finished it, but I mean,
Jesus
we can have it.
Christ.
We can have it ready today if we want it.
I don't think we need it. Well, we'll see where we are. Okay. Jorge Castillo from ESPN will join us in about 12 minutes. We're going to talk about the Orioles with him. Let's get into Would You Rather Wednesday. Would You Rather Wednesday is brought to you by Glory Days Grill. You can win a $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill just by participating at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio.
We never had Corey Dillon, right?
No, I don't think Corey Dillon. That would have been far more than 10 years ago.
That's true.
I don't know that would have been within 20 years at this point.
You're right.
All right, number 1, Would You Rather?
Ooh, Danny Woodhead.
Good one.
I had forgotten about Danny Woodhead. I had forgotten about Danny. All right, Would You Rather, number 1. The Ravens are the team that does it. They trade a 5th-round pick, and Jameis Winston becomes their backup quarterback. Or, as fun as that might be, it does not make sense to trade that type of asset.
Oh, the guy that
for
died.
A backup.
The dreadlocks guy. That just died.
Alex Collins.
Alex Collins.
Yes. Yeah. No, sorry. Maybe we don't lead with the guy that died. Maybe we.
Well, I mean, that's how I remember
we
him.
come up with a.
I'm just saying,
Maybe we.
Okay, take it easy. Wasn't being not trying.
Did I say you were a Satan? I don't think
I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm just.
Did you answer the Would You Rather Wednesday question?
Did you see, by the way?
No.
I'm answering it. Did you see the Jim Harbaugh thing with Jameis Winston?
No.
Or Herbert.
No, just now. It was just from when he was at Michigan with Jameis Winston when he said, "Are you a sex addict or something? Are you
what?
Did you not see this?
No.
Just type in Jim Harbaugh, Jameis Winston. You can actually probably play it.
I see it. I see it.
He talks to him about the crab legs. Oh yeah. You play it. It's really funny. It may be illegal, but play it anyway. It's really fun. It's a minute. he talks about crab legs. Put yourself in a box.
What?
Put yourself in a box. Play it. Yeah, it's hilarious. This is Jim Harbaugh interviewing Jameis Winston.
But why?
I don't know why.
Because he wasn't going into the NFL.
It's San Francisco.
Oh, he was still at San Francisco at this point.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
All right, that would make sense.
Go ahead.
Then put that in a nice. I would keep it in a tidy box. Tidy box. Came in, got some crab legs, left. You know, people in the store reported that I didn't pay for them, and they were right. I didn't pay for them, and I up. I should not have been taking anything for free. Okay. I've learned from that. Out. Tidy box. All right. But is that what happened?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell the truth. That's not gonna happen again. I'm not gonna jump up on any more tables. You know. I gotta know who I.
Jim Harbaugh's insane.
Know who I am and what I represent, and that was done.
So when they ask you what you said on the table, they're not just gonna let you go with that, jumped up on the table and got disciplined. They're gonna say, what did you say?
All right.
You know? And you're gonna say, right.
And I'll never do that again.
Yeah, I would say, I said something about a girl that I never should have said.
And they may grill you on it, you know? You a sex addiction? You got a problem with sex? You addicted to sex? A sex addiction or something?
No, sir.
Jim Harbaugh's insane.
I gotta be honest with you.
Jim Harbaugh's insane.
So this was
so weird.
So this was when he was
they're
coming
all
out of the
insane.
draft, or he was coming into the draft.
Yes.
So he was like, he was going to be the head coach. What they're going to grill him about.
This is very weird, dude.
Jim Harbaugh is absolutely nuts.
This is very weird.
Tiny
man.
box. Just put it all in a tiny box. Just put it in a tiny box. And part of this is you got to see Jim Harbaugh's He's the one doing all the talking.
Well, there's another coach in the background, and he's like doing
put him in a tiny box.
These weird hand
put tiny box. And what's wrong with you? Are you addicted to sex?
So
what's wrong with you?
Here's the thing, right? So apparently he was already at Michigan when they did this. This was like a TV, like the way that John Gruden used to do, like bring the quarterbacks in.
Okay.
This was like a TV segment apparently.
Gotcha.
And so I'm preparing you for what it's going to be like when you go and talk to these coaches. Like, this is what it's going to sound like. I can't believe how many years these draft prospects put up with this until they finally said,
it's none of your business.
Hey, we have all the power. You don't get to.
Yeah, what my mother does is none of your business.
Like, they put up with this for years.
Because they wanted to get drafted.
Because they were like, anything to get drafted. And then finally, like, some of these agents were like, you know what? You don't need to go through that.
Right.
They can ask you if you can throw the football.
Sure.
That's what your job is.
Right.
Throw football.
What your mother does for a living is nobody's business.
If they want to ask about that, tell them, I'll see you later. Now, I understand the teams are going to try to do everything in their power. They're going to have independent investigators and dive into those things. But it's hilarious how many years these players just walked in and were like, all right, I guess I have to tell you my entire life story and open up to you when you might never pay me a dime for what it is that I do for a living, until they finally realize, like, right, they need me. They have to have me. They have to have a quarterback.
Anyway, I don't know how we got on that, but
man.
go ahead.
Jameis or fifth round pick or too much.
I don't put any value in fifth-round picks. So, sure. I mean, right now, who is it?
Sounds
Josh
like
Johnson?
You're AB Josh Johnson, yes.
Yeah, we need something better than that.
Okay.
I'll take Jameis.
I mean, Matt Judon was a fifth-round pick once.
Okay. I'll take Jameis Winston.
You're giving up a fifth-round pick?
Sure.
All right.
I don't know. I still like draft picks. I wouldn't do it.
Okay.
Fifth round.
Well, what do you know? What would you do?
Great point. What would I'm torn because like I know the answer.
Nope. Yep.
Listen, let me talk it through, jerk.
Make a call.
I know the answer should be no. You don't give up a fifth-round pick for a backup quarterback. That's insane, right? Like Lamar gets hurt, the season's over. You just lit a draft pick on fire. But it's Jameis Winston. It'd be good for business. And in the scenario where you have 3 games where your quarterback's not playing, you're going to feel a lot better about starting Jameis Winston than you'd feel about I'm still not doing it. I can't not for a fifth-round pick. Can't do it. Number 2. Yeah, I hear it too. You think it's you? It sounds like every other alarm. Why are you particularly worried that it's you? Nope, it's gone. It's gone. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Drew was going to get to the bottom of that. Drew was going out there. He was going to.
Was it Drew's Cadillac that was doing that?
Like Porsche.
Number 2, would you rather? It's a baseball miracle. Jordan Westberg has been secretly rehabbing for the last couple of weeks.
I'd go to rehab, and I'm not a quitter.
And that's what I love most about you. You want to get all of them out there? It's been a little while.
Nope, I'm good.
We haven't heard.
Nope.
You don't. What do you not like?
I'm just saying, I'd go to rehab, and I'm not a quitter.
There's something that you always tell me you don't like.
I don't like cocaine anymore. I just like the way it smells.
There you go.
You guys are terrible.
There you go.
Go ahead.
You want to? Hey, you know what's really disappointed me?
I got them all.
Ever since Isaiah Likely has been a Baltimore Raven, you've really never revisited the Will Likely bit, which is sad when you think about it, because I would say
where is he too? Didn't we get him too, or no?
No, Will Likely no.
Yeah, where's
Will
he?
Likely's. I think he's out. I don't think he's any longer in the league.
Likely, unlikely.
Right, but Isaiah Likely.
Likely.
There you go. Likely. Have you heard the one about
Pat Anger? Anger's dad. If he were the coach,
I have to save number 3 for Would You Rather.
Anger's anger.
Number 2.
Anger.
Would you rather? Jordan Westbrook. It's a miracle.
All right.
He's back tonight.
It's a Barry Manilow song from way back when.
It's a miracle. Would you rather? Ramon Arias goes back to being a platoon player, or
Will Likely's coaching on the Terp staff.
Well, how about that?
Yeah.
Very good. Or, well, you can't do that. So Jackson Holliday is not going to be an everyday player anymore.
Well, I think this is actually going to wind up being the question, a legitimate question, when Westbrook comes back.
It might be.
I think it's going to be.
Well, if he's not back for another couple weeks, Ramon Arias could go back to being a pumpkin by then. But
No. But the question's going to be one of those. I think all signs are pointing to one of those two guys is going to have to. They're not. I wrote this morning. I don't think they're letting Urias go. I would have.
Well, I don't think they're letting him go. No.
Yeah, a month ago though.
Yes. We were all. Every single one of us was feeling the exact same way. But it's a difference between that. Today, you've got to make the call. Either Ramon Arias is back to being a platoon bat and only playing against lefties, or Jackson Holliday is no longer an everyday player.
I would go with the Holiday no longer an everyday player.
Boy, things have really changed for Ramon Arias.
Things have changed for Ramon Arias, and things have market correction has also come around for Holiday. I still think he's going to be a good player. I think next year could be a breakout year for him. Mm-hmm. I still think he's relatively overmatched at the plate. I don't see it in him at the plate. Now, he got a hit last night. He had the big hit Saturday in the pinch hit thing, but his average is his average is his average. I still think he's overmatched. And that's not to say that he doesn't have some use.
I don't know that
he's good defensively.
I don't know that I would say overmatched. I still think he's in.
That's why I said relatively. I think for a first-year player coming into the league, he's overmatched. If he were in his fourth year, he'd be in trouble.
No, I think he's in. Okay, so maybe we're saying the same thing in just different ways. I think he's still in the adjustment period.
100%.
Right.
That crazy 12-day period he had where he hit 350 was a little bit of an outlier, and it was also a little bit of market correction. Mm-hmm. He wasn't going to hit 080.
Right.
Nobody does that. But, I'm not down on him when I say this, but I think you're seeing someone who is still a tick away from being fully Major League ready, in my opinion. But they have the advantage of putting him in there at a time when, now, it hasn't worked out this way because the offense has been terrible. But I was going to say they had the advantage of putting him in there in the 7, 8, 9 spot and letting him sort of find his way without having all this pressure heaped on him.
And I think that would be the argument from a lot of people is that you just have to sink or swim. Like, you've got to let him play.
Okay. I don't know that I agree with that, but okay. I understand that theory.
Griffin?
Arias goes back to a platoon bat, and maybe even platoon him with Holiday, like that. I mean, yeah, like that's what you sit Holiday against lefties.
Well, here's what I would say. If you take whatever body of work you want to consider to be big enough to warrant some sort of a statement, do you think that's 50 at-bats? Do you think that's 75 at-bats?
50 at-bats is enough. I agree with that.
Make up the date. No, September 1st.
Right.
Ramon Urias' next 50 at-bats will be far more productive than Jackson Holliday's.
I understand why you would say that today. I do not have the same confidence in that being the truth. I understand the thought.
And I'm saying that more about Holliday than I am about Urias. There's also market correction to come with Urias.
Right.
That's coming soon. But it's
we're hot and bothered about Ramon Urias right now. For the month, he's still hitting 241 and still getting on base at a 297 clip. For the month of August,
right.
He's still now actually his OPS is 797. The home runs really do stand out. Like
right.
He has 4 home runs since
he's hit 3 in 4 games.
Yeah, he's had 4 in the last since August 10th.
Right.
He's hit 4 home runs. So it stands out, and it's hot. I do still think the correct answer is that Jackson Holliday's got to play, and
That's
that
fine.
I think that course correction is going to come for Ramon Urias. I appreciate it right now.
It always does. That's why it's called a batting average.
That's normally the way that it works.
No, it always does. Like
we're going to save number 3. How long are you here? What's your story today? Are you going to
be here at about 11:53?
Okay, we got 2 guests that are scheduled to join us.
Oh, well, I don't do guests.
You don't do guests.
Who are they?
Well, Jorge Castillo, who's the baseball writer for ESPN.
Pass.
And then Michael Fabiano, who's our fantasy guy.
Yeah, pass.
Okay. Well, it's good to see you. Thanks for
stopping.
You mean?
Oh, I thought you were going to call them and tell them.
Hey, we got to bump them.
Back it up.
Who did he do that? He said it was Raleigh Massimino. I booked a Hall of Famer, Raleigh Massimino, on the program.
So we got to wait.
Because he was going to, I think he was coaching at North Florida at that point, and they were playing Maryland. And I said, we can get Raleigh Massimino on the program. That's incredible. And we had it booked. And he came in, and he said, nobody wants to hear that. They want to hear me.
You're talking about Groupon.
I said, I didn't. I refused.
What did he ever win?
Yeah, what did he?
Oh, you mean besides when they beat
National
Georgetown?
Championship?
You mean besides when they beat Georgetown?
I was convinced that he did not know who Raleigh Massimino was.
Right. Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I was convinced that
He's
was
the coach
part of
at biggest upset in history of
the
NCAA.
But other than that,
right.
Who is that guy? All right, Drew Forrester is here.
Yeah, man.
By the way,
who
handles drewsmorningdish.com?
Drew does.
But who does the actual work?
Drew.
But like the breakfast bites, who?
Drew does.
You might want to talk to him.
Why?
I'm not sure who Yannick Skinner is. I'm not.
I didn't do that.
No, U.S. Open tennis #1 seed Skinner starts pursuit of men's title with 4-set win.
What did
I'm not sure who that is. I'm sure he's nice too, but I don't think he's. I make plenty of mistakes. I get things wrong all the time.
Right, that was early.
All right, let's talk some baseball. Joining us now, he, of course, covers Major League Baseball for ESPN. He wrote something about Anthony Santander last week. We'll talk about that. But I want to talk about the Birds and the playoff picture in general. He is Mr. Jorge Castillo, and he is with us this morning here on GCR. Jorge, it's Glenn and Drew in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you as always. Thank you for taking the time for us.
No problem. Thanks for having me, guys.
Jorge, I want to present this to you broadly if I could. The Orioles got a nice win last night out in L.A., but it's been very mid. It's been 500 baseball for the better part of the last 2 months, and that's led to consternation from a number of Orioles fans and us feeling like we have the obligation to say, well, right, but they're still only a game back, and they're still – how do we talk like adults about the fact that nobody is really playing all that good of baseball? There's no one that's really all that dominant, and it really does seem like this is going to be another year where anyone who gets in genuinely has a chance.
Yeah, that's where I was going with this, man. It's funny. Last week, the Orioles are in town. They're playing the Mets, and I bounce back and forth a lot. And you hear the Baltimore writers say, "Yeah, man, it's someone was like, it's amazing the Yankees haven't been able to take advantage of the situation and run away with the division." And then I go to the Yankees, and the writers are like, man, the Orioles can't. Why are they taking advantage of this situation? It's like, well, no one's playing too well right now. Things are up and down for a lot of teams. In the Orioles' case, like you said, they've been kind of just mid for a long time, as where the Yankees have been like great, terrible, good again. So yeah, it's one of those things where this year there is no sort of team that's really stood out, or 2 or 3 teams. And to be frank, in years past, that doesn't matter either. This is about who gets hot in October, whether it's a wild card team or whomever. We've seen it in recent years with the Phillies, the Rangers, the Diamondbacks, the Washington Nationals. This is always wide open, and this year it seems more open than ever.
I'll ask it this way. Is there anything uniquely about the Orioles that, besides just the wins and losses of late, but like the bullpen struggles, for example, or is there anything that you look at them and say, hey, here's why even amongst good teams, here's why I would be uniquely concerned about the Orioles?
Yeah, they're banged up. This isn't a team that started off the year, and I think that's the biggest thing, or one of the biggest things. Jordan Westburg getting hurt, Mountcastle's hurt, Mateo's hurt, and then all that pitching that they don't have at the moment. If those guys come back, if Zach Eflin comes back healthy, obviously that changes it a little bit. But Craig Kimbrell I've seen that movie before with Craig Kimbrell. He's not, in the last couple of years, he's been a guy you can't trust down the stretch and into the postseason. 2 years ago, he didn't even make the Dodgers playoff roster. He struggled for the Phillies last year in October. So, I think there are some problems there. Corbin Burns hasn't looked too great as of late either. So I think it's mostly, they are banged up. They are going through it right now. The back end of the bullpen doesn't look great. But you know what? There are a lot of back ends of bullpens that don't look great. So I think they're banged up, and that starting rotation right now is it's alarming what they're going through with the starting rotation. I think the bullpen stuff, teams figure it out. And in October, we've seen it. Like I said, talking about recent Octobers, we've seen teams put starters back there. We've seen other guys step up. All of a sudden, you're relying on 3 or 4 or 5 relievers because the schedule is just so different in October. So I would pin it on this team is really banged up, and that starting rotation needs to get it going, needs to get on track. You need Zach Eflin back. You need Corbin Burns to be Corbin Burns and to have a real shot to win the World Series.
I don't know, man. We don't need anybody. We got Mike Bowman.
Matt Bowman.
I said Mike. I wrote Mike today. I'm thinking of Mike Bauman.
Yeah, right. He killed it last night. He was great.
It's kind of crazy. He's been with 5 different teams.
It's nuts. So, Jorge, if I could, I want to get into what you wrote about Anthony Santander. I want to start in this place. There's been a lot of talk in Baltimore about spending money on extensions for the young stars, for Gunnar Henderson, for Adley Rutschman. And I don't know if those opportunities might have already passed this team. But Anthony Santander comes up on free agency this offseason, based on the fact that he's going to finish damn close to 50 home runs this season. It might be that we're talking about $20 million per for Anthony Santander and 5+ years. Is it logical for the Orioles to be in those waters, given that they still have more Kobe Mayo's got to play somewhere. Heston Kjerstad, if they don't trade him. Should they be investing in their own that way, or do they need to keep going in the route of playing these young guys and committing to them having places to play?
Yeah, I think they made that decision this season when they didn't trade, that upper crust, those guys, those top prospect guys at the deadline to go for it. I think they made a ton of moves at the deadline. They traded some talent, but they didn't trade those top guys. So that told me that they want those guys to step in next season. I don't see them, trying to pay, Santander $80 million, $100 million, whatever he's going to end up being paid this offseason. I don't think it makes sense for them, frankly. I think it's the right move to you're already telling us, you're already deciding, hey, we want these young guys around. We want to keep them. So why keep them and then also pay the guy who's about to be 30 years old coming off a career year when you're buying high? I don't think that makes much sense. I think Santander is going to be on another team next year. And as much as, I know he's a home sort of, he's a favorite, he's a fan favorite there. A guy, former Rule 5 pick, having a huge year, all-star, great personality. Just the team, the direction of this team is they got a ton of young talent coming up. They already have a lot of young talent on the roster. It just doesn't make a ton of sense to give that guy that money.
Feels like a very Angels-like free agent signing to me. That would be my official prediction. He goes to the Angels.
It would fit in.
Yeah, the Angels. I mean, yeah, that does make a lot of sense.
Right.
The Angels have have done those kind of deals before. Yeah, man, I'm with you on that. That's a good call.
Jorge, I guess the one thought opposing that would be the value of him being a switch hitter for an organization that seems to have almost nothing but lefty bats. And yes, in this scenario, Kobe Mayo, we're expecting to be on the roster next year. Does it change anything, given how it from an outside perspective? And I've talked to a lot of people around baseball who said, hey, the one thing that I take issue with the Orioles is they've got a lot of the same. They've got a lot of guys that do the same thing. Does that at all change the value of Santander uniquely here just because he is a switch hitter?
I know. I just think you can go out and get a guy from platoon at a fraction of the price, or you can just trade from the surplus of talent that you have for a right-handed bat who's under team control and cheaper. I don't think you need to necessarily, pay a guy $20 million a year just because you want a right-handed bat. A switch hitter in there. I think you can get that elsewhere. The way these teams operate, these front office operate, is they're trying to optimize every situation, be super efficient. And if you do want a right-handed bat, you go get one at a fraction of the price, or you trade for somebody.
I understand it. It's painful. I'm an Anthony Santander guy, Jorge, so it hurts me. But I appreciate the perspective of someone who has no emotional investment whatsoever in it. So I think that's a good thing.
No. And as someone, I'm a baseball fan like everybody else. I love these kind of stories when, fan bases rally about a guy who's having a huge season. And, that grand slam the other night, that was an electric scene down there. And that's the kind of stuff you want to see. But just the reality is these front offices operate in this way. It's pretty ruthless, pretty cold, that's just incalculated, and it's just the way it is. The guy's about to be 30 years old, and he has 38 home runs. I think it's going to be like the, 8th switch hitter ever to get to 40, something like that. It's an amazing season, but I just think in the context of the Baltimore Orioles, it doesn't make a ton of sense.
I haven't seen every swing in big league baseball this year, and I'm not saying one swing should get you $100 million. That might have been the best swing of the bat I've seen. I watch a lot of baseball. That might have been the best swing of the bat I've seen all year.
It was unbelievable.
It was insane. And the ball was up near his neck.
Correct.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Jorge, if I could, I think part of this conversation is also just this fan base being desirous of seeing them spend money on anything, right? And it is
we'd sign Charlie Brown if we could.
Right. It's worth pointing out that the Zach Eflin trade did involve them taking on money for next year. They did have to spend money this year.
Well, their payroll's $45 million.
Yeah,
next year, as of right now.
As of the moment, and I think that's part of it. If it can't be, if they've gone to Adley Rutschman, and he said, "I'm arbitration eligible next year. I'm not doing any deal." And they've gone to Scott Boras, and Scott Boras has said, have you met me? We're not doing deals with Gunnar Henderson and Jackson Holliday. If they've tried that, how important do you feel like it is for this ownership group, for this fan base, just to make sure they spend money on something to make that statement that, this isn't just going to be a continuation of everything you've gotten to know in Baltimore for a very long time?
Yeah, I think I'm curious as to how this ownership is going to operate down there. You would think they're going to spend more money. It's super important to keep that, nucleus, that core together as long as possible. If this pans out the way sort of everyone expects, this team's going to be contending every single season for a very long time. You should try to get these guys under contract. You should try to do what Alex Anthopoulos has done in Atlanta.
Right.
Get these guys under contract for a very long time and keep this going. That should be the goal. Now, if you want to spend money, there's a guy right there. This team's ace is going to be a free agent. Corbin Burns is a guy. We're talking about Anthony Santander. They should be trying to re-sign Corbin Burns.
Yeah.
You traded for him this offseason basically for 1 year, obviously unless you can re-sign him. I think that should be their top priority. That's somewhere you can spend beyond retaining your own guy, extending your own guys. And this free agent class is going to be, there's some guys in this free agent class and that you can supplement this core with. And I think Corbin Burns should be top of mind. And I think obviously he will be. This is a guy who's gone there, who's had some success, ton of success. And frankly, they don't have that kind of guy coming up where you look at he's going to be, an ace type pitcher. So I think that should be their priority. And I do think they're going to spend more because I don't think you can spend less than the previous ownership.
Very difficult to do that. All right, Jorge, before I let you go, like, who is the team? Is there a team that you have been, like, of late? Or maybe it's one of the teams that has been scuffling, but just because of the pieces they have. Who's the team that you look at and say, like, right now, I had to, send a prediction, write it down, and I got a bunch of money for it at the end of the year. Who's the team that does look like a World Series winner to you at the moment?
It's crazy to, I think it's kind of the trendy pick now, but the Houston Astros, they just every year, it just seems like they're just in it, man. Like 7 straight ALCS appearances. I don't know if they're going to win the World Series, but I think they're going to be. That's my favorite right now to win the American League. They're kind of, take away that April, and they're the best team in the American League. And they have guys who have done it. They have Yordan Alvarez, who's like the most overlooked, underrated hitter, superstar hitter in baseball. Alex Bregman, who's having a decent year. Altuve is still great. And that starting rotation is really coming into its own. So I think that's the team for me. And I really like the Arizona Diamondbacks in the National League. I really like them.
Yeah.
Obviously, we saw what they did last year. Ketel Marte's hurt right now, so they're not even, at 100%. They're playing really well. So those are the 2 teams I got my eyes on.
This despite the fact that Jordan Montgomery has been a disaster. It's unbelievable how that's turned around.
The White Sox have 31 wins.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're 70 games under 500.
The White Sox have 31 wins. They might not reach 40.
I think I've realized, Jorge, that like everybody in baseball is mediocre because they've just all beaten the White Sox all year, right? Like there's the White Sox and then there's everybody else, and they all just have the records they have because they've been able to play the White Sox.
You know what's weird about it, Jorge, is like I'm speaking for you. Maybe I shouldn't. Like I wouldn't even, as a writer, I don't even know that the story interests me. Like what? It's just piling on. Like, what do you write about? I know someone will do some sort of deep dive into how does a baseball team win 38 games, but it almost feels dirty to write about it. Yeah, right. Unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, fortunate for me, man. I'm based in New York, so I don't have to pay attention to the White Sox too much. That's probably the team I've seen the least this season, and I'm not, sad about that. It's terrible what's going on over there, and it's unbelievable to see that record. Just to go to the standings and just see their record, it's crazy.
It is nuts.
Gavin Sheets is a local kid, grew up here, and I have befriended him over the years through golf and trade texts with him a lot. And about a month ago, whenever I would send him a text and I would say like, "Hey man, keep your head up. Hey man, better days ahead," he would just start responding by saying, "Yeah, not good."
Yeah, no.
That would be all he would say.
At Jorge Castillo is how you follow him on Twitter. Jorge, always appreciate you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
No problem, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Jorge Castillo from ESPN.
Yeah, back in like May, Gavin would be like, "Yeah, we're playing a little better. He would be 4 sentences, playing a little better. Things are getting better. We just need a win. We need a nice road trip." Now it's just like, this is not good.
There's 70 games under 500. 70.
They've won 31 games since March.
The numbers of like if you took
Did you see
out
what they did against the Tigers?
No.
They lost all 4 games against the Tigers and led in every one of the games.
Well, the surprising part is that they led.
They led,
yeah,
right,
that's
right,
not.
right.
The surprising part isn't that they lost; it's that they led.
They are 3-33 against the Royals, Twins, and Guardians.
So the Royals,
that's unbelievable.
Now tied for first
They
place.
won last night again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now tied for first place, and suddenly you're like,
that could be a Santander move, also.
Well, but also
the Royals could also decide to spend
but
money.
If they do, I'm convinced that means that it's going to work out great for them because they somehow shrewdly spend money in Kansas City. You got to figure
They're my
out.
second favorite team. Did I ever tell you that?
Why?
I don't know why. I always have liked them. Well, you're going to know why. I've always liked their uniforms. I've just always. I went to a game in Kaufman when I was in the soccer business, and I just have always liked them.
Okay.
I secretly rooted for them in 14.
No, you didn't. Although I'm still angry.
Alex Gordon to punch him right in the face.
I'll admit I'm still angry at the way Orioles fans treated Jeremy Guthrie because he wore a T-shirt.
Oh, right. Ain't no
which
royal.
These O's ain't royal.
Ain't so royal. Right.
Like he played for the Royals.
Right.
What was he supposed to do?
Right.
Like, no, I like the other team more that I used to be on.
But I have always
Orioles
liked the
fans.
Royals. So anyway, I've liked the Orioles and the Royals.
Okay, I don't
Maybe
know what
that's
to make of
maybe that's what it is.
that. Is this now or is this 11? Oh, it's now. All right, we're gonna chat
What's
with Michael
now?
Fabiano. We're chatting with Michael Fabiano.
Take it easy.
We book guests.
Why are you so angry? You get so
Because
aggravated because of
you-
Oasis?
Yeah, that's the reason. I'm angry about Oasis. Do you have any other material
can't
planned
wait.
for this week?
I might go over
Yeah,
there.
no.
If they're not coming to the U.S., I'm going over there.
Hang on a second.
They got to be coming to the U.S. There's too much money.
John from Little Rock sent me.
Oh, well, he doesn't know anything.
There are some leaked dates.
Oh.
Apparently.
Well, they're not coming here.
No.
They'll
Not
go
even,
to New York or Philly.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll go to Meadowlands.
That's the one.
They'll go to Boston and the Meadowlands.
That's the one.
They're going to Boston also?
No, not. Yeah, they do have Boston.
Yeah, they got to go to Boston.
Or Foxborough.
Well, same thing.
They have Soldier Field, MetLife Stadium, Gillette Stadium, and the Rose Bowl listed as dates.
Okay.
On this leaked Oasis dates.
Who's that person?
It's Kim.
Who's that?
She works here.
Oh, take it easy. I don't know anyone.
Who are you?
Don't introduce me to any of these people.
I really don't like bringing you back
All right.
in. We got to talk.
Well, I got another year. I just re-upped.
Yeah, we might have to buy out of that.
I just re-upped.
You can you talk some fantasy football? You have any interest in that?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have a team.
Drew Forrester is here. I don't know why. I'm so sorry.
Ethan's got a team.
It's
Ethan
good.
got Patrick
good.
Mahomes.
Tell him to send you some questions.
Ethan
we'll see
got
if
Patrick
he can
Mahomes.
help here. Let's talk now as it is fantasy week here on GCR. We've been doing content every day, getting you ready for what should be your draft weekend. We continue that right now. One of my favorites from SI, Sirius XM, among other places. He is the great Michael Fabiano, and he's back with us now here on GCR. What's going on, brother? How are you?
As you can imagine, a little bit busy, especially with cut down day being yesterday and more news coming out today. But getting ready for the season, man. I mean, we're like a week and a day from kick.
But does Dalvin Cook really have fantasy value?
The only value he has is that he makes that backfield even more
complicated,
undesirable.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
You've got. I mean, if Zeke and Dalvin Cook were in their prime, that's one thing. But now, Zeke was 3.9 yards per carry last year. Dalvin was 3.2. Dalvin's been on the street for a while. Nobody wanted him. I'm a Cowboys fan. I don't like Jerry Jones. This is, I guess, what he means by saying he's all in, by signing a veteran running back who's past his prime. But yeah, he's going to the practice squad first, and assuming he's fine, he picks up the offense. He'll probably be in there for week 1 or 2. But now, for the first time in a long time, and I mean, I'm probably thinking about going back to Troy Hambrick. I don't know if you guys remember him. The Cowboys backfield is not an attractive scenario for fantasy managers.
All right, I want to run by you a couple of what I think are my biggest takes going into my drafts, and I'm finally doing my first one tonight. My first take is the quarterbacks are way too good and way too deep. I don't even care if Josh Allen's sitting there in the 5th round at this point. I can't fathom drafting a quarterback before the 10th round because Jared Goff and Matt Stafford and legitimate options are falling way too far for me to be drafting a quarterback early.
You are my spirit animal. We are in simpatico there, buddy. I last year I made the mistake of focusing more on high-end quarterbacks after the previous year where we saw so many quarterbacks not play well. Remember Tom Brady was bad that year, and there was just a few guys that were great. And then it flipped back to the original script in 2023. Look at the quarterbacks who finished in the top 10 last year that were late-round picks. I mean, Dak Prescott, people were down on him because he had so many interceptions. You're talking about Jordan Love and Brock Purdy and C.J. Stroud. There's just no reason in my mind to take a quarterback unless it's Superflex League until the mid to late rounds. If I get out of a draft and my 2 quarterbacks are, I don't know, Jaden Daniels and Jared Goff, I'm through the moon. It's fine. I have no problem with that.
I'll take that Stroud kid any day of the week. I mean, if he's 7th round, 8th round, and you can snag him,
I'm not taking. And
they gave him some wide receivers.
Yeah, he's got lots of wide receivers. It must be nice. We don't know what that's like in Baltimore.
And the best helmets.
I'm also surprised, and I don't think this is a homer thing, Michael. Gus Edwards had 13 touchdowns last year. I do not know why Derrick Henry is slipping into the 3rd round. I know that Lamar Jackson exists and is going to run the football, but the Ravens run the ball. That's what they do, and they don't have another goal line back. There's no one else to put the ball in the end zone. to me, Derrick Henry is a guy that if I get a back first round pick, I'm comfortable taking like early in the second round.
Trying to figure out what leagues you're in where Derrick Henry's fallen to round 3.
Oh man, I've been doing all these. I've been mock heavy.
His ADP is round 2. It's
okay,
right where it should be.
All right.
I think there's only 3 running backs who are worth a first round pick. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey, Breece Hall, and Bijan Robinson. After that, there's some players who obviously like a Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon Barkley, who are worth second round picks. But I think Derrick Henry is certainly worth a mid to late second round pick at worst. As you mentioned, Edwards scored 13 touchdowns last year on the ground. I can see a scenario where Derrick Henry, even at 30 with all the wear and tear, rushes for 1,200, gives you 10 to 12 touchdowns minimum on the ground, and ends up being a low RB1.
Yeah, like he's not going to catch the ball that much, but yeah, everything else.
But he never has.
Correct.
But he never has.
Correct.
In some parts, they would say Lamar's a running back.
Yeah, all right, stop. Don't cause. I'm sorry.
No.
This is my friend. This is Mike. I
No?
need you to meet Drew Forrester. He's an old radio partner of mine. He's got nothing to add to the conversation, but he's going to do his best anyway. And we love him. And it's like you invite
your
uncle. Like somebody from the old folks home. You want to get him out every now and then.
Let me tell you why Trump is a smart man.
Thank you. That's what I've got here with Drew Forrester.
Are you guys comparing me to an old folks?
No,
Drew.
Me. Drew.
I'm old.
I'm comparing Drew, and I'm sorry you have to.
Hey, man, listen, I just turned 51, so I'm no spring chicken either.
Oh, I got you by 10. Man. I got you. I do have one quick question, serious question. In terms, so your thought would be wide receiver wise, are you looking? Some of this would obviously depend on how far along in the draft you're staked in the first round. Are you a first round wide receiver has to go guy?
Yeah, and it's funny too because I never used to be that way. I was a running back truther forever. I mean, and when I started playing fantasy football, my first year playing, I won the championship with Terrell Davis and Fred Taylor. That was back in '98, and I've always loved running backs, but unfortunately, that featured backs have kind of gone the way of the dodo bird.
Right.
So you have to adjust. The NFL is a passing league. You have so many good wide receivers who come in and just go bonkers in year one. We saw that with Puka Nacua last season. And so, yes, absolutely. There's a strategy that has been out in the fantasy football landscape for years. It's called the zero RB strategy. Mm-hmm. And I always kind of scoffed at it and laughed at it. Now there's more and more people using it, and I don't blame them because wide receiver has risen up. Running back has fallen down. So you can get good running backs like, Tony Pollard, Najee Harris. They're not elite. They're not superstars, but they're fine for RB2s at some point, after round 6, 7, or 8. And so I want to go and get those wide receivers, lock those guys up, maybe get a top 5 or 6 tight ends, and then hold back a little bit on running backs. Maybe not too long because I still have that pull of being a running backs truther. But typically in my first 3 rounds, I have 3 wide receivers or 2 and a running back. And I almost will never have 2 running backs in the first 3 picks. And that was always my strategy back in the day.
Here's Michael Fabiano. He's with us here on GCR. Michael, where is the cut for tight ends? Like, where is the, hey, if this guy goes off the board, it's time to get yours because you're about to hit the drop and you're going to end up with a bad situation?
For me, so I look at tight end in a different way. The top 5 guys are Laporta, Kelsey, Mark Andrews, of course, Trey McBride, Dalton Kincaid.
Right.
I am not going to get one of the top 3 because I'm not going to draft a tight end that high.
Right.
I have been in leagues where I was able to get McBride in maybe round 5 or Dalton Kincaid in round 6. But after that, there's a group of tight ends where, like, they're not elite, but they're pretty good, and I don't mind getting them. George Kittle's one of them, and he's fallen a little bit. He's, you can get him in round 7. Evan Engram, who had a great year last year, he's another one. Kyle Pitts, who maybe this is finally the year he actually breaks out. I mean, Kirk Cousins is there. And then another guy that, if you like to wait on tight ends, the player that I'm really targeting, and I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm not being a homer here, is Jake Ferguson. Like, the Cowboys always seem to have a really good tight end statistically. Jason Witten, Dalton Schultz, and now it's Ferguson. And they don't really have like an explosive third wide receiver. Maybe Jalen Tolbert will be that this year. But Ferguson could end up being the guy who's third in targets again. And you can get him in the 8th or 9th round, and I would have no problem getting him. So, but I think it's after that where you get into like the David Njoku's and the Dallas Goederts and the Brock Bowers and the Dalton Schultzes where like yeah, they're going to have good games, but I'm a little bit worried about their consistent level of production.
Who are the guys, we'll stick to running backs and wide receivers. Who are you mentioned, obviously, Pollard, you mentioned Harris. Who are the other value guys, the guys that you're looking at and saying, they're going here, and if you get them here, that's a great spot. You just came up with a tremendous pick.
I've got to mention Zamir White, who's going to be the lead back in Las Vegas, although I don't think he's going to be a featured back because I think when you look at Luke Getsy's usage, he likes to use two backs, so I think Alexander Madison will be there in passing situations. Javonte Williams now is becoming a better bargain because the Broncos cut Samaje Perine. You mentioned Pollard. I'll say Tajay Spears, his teammate. My buddy Austin Eckler, also a guy in a PPR league. If you can get him out of the top 100, that's pretty good. Zach Moss is getting disrespected in the fantasy community right now. More people are on Chase Brown than Zach Moss, and I don't exactly know why. So Zach Moss is somebody also that I would try and target and take the discount on. And then finally, like Jerome Ford, because Nick Chubb's out for at least the first 4 weeks. And don't forget about Devin Singletary. Like, he's not a sexy name, but he's the only back the Giants have, and he really knows Brian Daboll's offense pretty well.
I'll run one more by you. Just because we're local, is there value in Isaiah Likely at all?
Well, I know Mark Andrews is a little bit banged up, but I don't know that there's value in him unless Andrews misses time. I don't know that the Ravens are going to be out there running a lot of 12 with two tight ends running routes. So I've always liked Likely's skill set. I just wish he was somewhere we could utilize that and be featured rather than being, a second fiddle to an elite tight end in Mark Andrews. So he's a late round pick at best, but I think he can do better. It's just hard for me to go out and suggest that someone drafts a backup tight end.
No, I get it.
And a guy who's playing behind Mark Andrews.
I think we're trying to believe that this is going to be a true two tight end situation. There's going to be a lot of 12 here in Baltimore because there isn't a ton of wide receiver depth on this roster. But I'd still have to, in order to use a draft pick on it, I'd have to see it to have confidence in it. So
but think about it. You've got Derrick Henry. He's going to be the centerpiece of your offense, of course, with Lamar Jackson. And so I'm not sure that they're going to have Andrews and Likely on the field at the same time.
Yep.
You have to also factor in, the blocking scheme and scenario, and they're both more pass catchers than they are blockers.
100%.
So it's just hard for me to see those two guys on the field at the same time often enough where Likely would have value.
And you mentioned Puka Nacua. I am not trying to suggest there is a Puka Nacua to be had, but someone you could take in the 13th, 14th, 15th round of your draft that should be on a roster that maybe nobody knows about at this moment.
Okay, so first off, there will not be another Puka Nacua. That doesn't happen.
Right.
Like a guy who doesn't get drafted in most leagues and then ends up being top 5, it doesn't happen. It's very rare. So I would first throw that out. If you're looking for late round targets at wide receiver, and again, I don't think any of these guys will be Puka Nacua, but you can take a look at a Dontavian Wicks in Green Bay. You can take a look at someone like Jalen Polk in New England because remember, Kendrick Bourne's going to be out for the first 4 weeks at least because he's dealing with the continued rehab of his knee. Those are a couple of the late round names that kind of pop and come to mind that you'd be able to get somewhere in the 13th round. But I got to be honest with you. If you're out there, trying to mine that diamond again, you're going to come up with a lot of coal. It's going to be real hard to find another Puka.
I know you're right about that. All right, what all can I plug for you, my friend?
So no longer on SiriusXM. Fantasy Dirt is now on Sports Illustrated. That's okay. That's okay. On Sports Illustrated, it's a podcast with myself and, of course, Lindsay Rhodes. So wherever you find your podcasts, make sure you download, subscribe, do all the fun stuff. With Fantasy Dirt, we're on 5 days a week. We're also going to be doing a show on Sundays to help people prepare for their drafts. And also the fantasy football forecast will begin in week 1. Myself and Amber Theo Harris will be on Fridays and over the weekends. And then, of course, make sure you check out Sports Illustrated, si.com/fantasy for all your fantasy drafting and regular season needs because we are here to help you win a championship.
And at Michael_Fabiano, as well as how you can follow him. Dude, always
Yes, sir.
an insanely busy week. So appreciate you taking a couple of minutes for us, man. Thanks so much for doing it.
All right, guys. Take care.
See you, buddy. Michael Fabiano with us here on GCR as we continue Fantasy Week. When did you stop playing, by the way?
It's going to be 100 degrees today.
Yeah, it's going to be like 107 on the heat index. God.
Play golf.
It always goes this way. Every year.
Oh, sure.
Every year. You get a week where you're the fall's coming. It's great.
False fall.
And then they say, hey, Labor Day's next week. Be prepared.
100 degrees.
Yep. I'm supposed to take what's going to be on Saturday? I think I'm going to take my kids to the Maryland game.
I think it'll be cooler. Like, this is
88.
definitely
88.
It's cooler. It's cooler than today.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be also 88 combined yards of offense. I think they'll be fine. I think they will.
They better.
They better. When did you stop playing fantasy football?
I probably haven't had a team in 6 years.
Is this a religious thing?
No. I didn't change my team one day and, forgot and got just annihilated by the guys in the league, calling me names and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, you guys are right. You're right, but I don't need this.
I am a bloody wanker. Yeah, like
I don't need this.
Right,
but you're right.
Yeah.
Like I'm ruining the league by not paying attention.
I agree with that.
So I got out.
Yeah, that's what I can't believe I don't give you credit for a lot of things.
My last team was this charming man.
You just named them all after Morrissey songs. That's right.
Always.
You always named your team after a Morrissey song.
We hate it when our friends become successful.
I do remember that now. I do remember that bit. All right, we're going to talk Oasis when we come back in.
You better play some music. I know we're not allowed to, but
we're
play
not
it
allowed
anyway.
to.
Well, just play the instrumental.
The Arthur Millette Show kicks off Tuesday, September 10th. We'll be at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill. Hope that you will join us all season long. You can find out more PressBoxOnline.com/Millette, M-A-U-L-E-T, the Arthur Millette Show.
You have
first episode.
Android or an Apple?
I have an Android.
You do?
Yeah.
Do you have the weather? Turn your phone on a second.
Can I do this? I just said we're about to go to a commercial break.
I just need to look at your phone. Do you have the temperature?
PressBoxOnline.com/Millette. We'll see you for the first show Tuesday, September 10th, the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill. Drew's here for reasons. Glenn Clark Radio.
Want to improve your golf game or learn to play for the first time? The Baltimore Golf Academy has fun, instructional programs for the beginner golfer to everyday players. The Baltimore Golf Academy can take your game to the next level. Enroll today at BaltimoreGolfAcademy.com.
Frederick Keys Baseball is back. With 30 more home games beginning on July 2nd, the Keys are excited to welcome you back to Nimio Field at Harry Grove Stadium. We want to see you there. Countless promotions will be on display every game, with it ranging from Tap House Tuesdays to Firework Fridays and everything in between. For more information or to buy tickets, call 301-815-9939 or visit FrederickKeys.com today.
We've all experienced it before, the fantasy football draft from hell. Your buddy says you can do it at his house, but he never asks his wife. She's screaming at him the whole time and forces you guys to sit outside in the unforgiving heat. Then everyone brings the exact same store-bought 7-layer dip, and somehow you accidentally draft someone named LeVar Jackson because your brain can't function in these circumstances. Don't cop out and just move your draft online this year. Let Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel handle everything for you. Book your draft party, complete with your choice of all-you-can-eat entrees, drinks, and custom draft kits for the whole league, plus a custom trophy for your champion and a $75 gift card for the commish. Visit PressBoxOnline.com/social. That's PressBoxOnline.com/social, and never have a fantasy draft from hell again.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. Learn more at DriveEasyMD.com.
Hagerstown, Maryland, a snapshot of American history that dates back centuries. Today, the roots of the city expand with another historical moment, the grand opening of Meredith Park, Hagerstown's new event stadium and home to the Atlantic League Flying Boxcars. Experience the energy, culture, and adventure. Plan your getaway today at America's newest and most innovative ballpark. You're welcome in Hagerstown, Maryland. Visit Hagerstown.com.
Treat yourself and taste the Baltimore tradition that is the legendary Costas Inn. Hey, it's Stan the Fan Charles. For over 50 years, the Costas Inn has been a Baltimore original, dishing out their legendary fat, delicious, award-winning crab cakes and steamed crabs. It's crab season, so sit back and crack some crabs while watching the Birds pursue another divisional title on Costas' 15 TVs. On Monday night, the Costas Inn offers their half-pound jumbo lump crab cake with 2 sides for under $30. So head on down to the Costas Inn today at 4100 North Point Boulevard or visit them at CostasInn.com.
The votes were all counted, and the results are official. Royal Farms was named #1 for food in the USA Today 10 Best poll, receiving more votes than any other convenience store chain in America. The next time you want to get some good food fast, doesn't it make sense to go to Royal Farms? Voted best in the USA and home of world-famous chicken. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
Escape to Ocean City, Maryland, and discover a place that just feels lighter, where every day feels like Saturday and French fries are a food group, where flip-flops are always in fashion and seafood is always in season, where the boardwalk is bustling and the beach is right outside your door, where you can rise with the tide and feel like a kid again. Ocean City, Maryland, somewhere to smile about. Book your trip at OCOcean.com.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
Yeah, it's Drew Forrester, drewsmorningdish.com. We need to get somebody else to do the rejoiners. We've had these for a little while. It's time for some new ones.
I'm trying to think of when
some
we
fresh blood.
had these.
I think
Has it been a
it's
year?
time, but it's the start of football season.
Okay,
You know, it's time. It's time for new ones. Drew is here, however, for better or for worse. High school sports season is underway, and you can find all the scores for all the teams, every sport, every part of the state, all at countysports.zone. They were reporting every score statewide, plus polls, plus updates, plus I saw there was a piece about maybe some turmoil in the Calvert Hall golf program, for example.
What?
Like, I didn't
hear about that.
Maybe they haven't published
All
that
right,
one
I
yet.
got this fixed.
No one cares. Countysports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. All right, number 3 for Would You Rather Wednesday.
All right, so there it is, in case you wanted to see how it goes. You get it up in the left-hand corner. And
So you need it on the left, not the right.
well, it's just easier.
That's
And
where your
now it
eyes,
says
your eyes
88
go.
degrees. Today will be warmer than yesterday. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
will it?
That's
Will
nice
it?
to know. Okay,
That's great.
Thank you, Griff, for doing that for me.
No problem.
Can we do the show again?
Yeah, but I mean, people might want to know.
Yeah, I got a funny feeling no. Got a funny feeling that they're good. Just
Come to your house and chew gum.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a next one. All right, Would You Rather number 3.
Go ahead.
You have to work a $50,000 a year job.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a huge raise for Griffin.
Interested?
It's $50,000 a year job where you work for Amazon, and your only responsibility is to make sure the Kelsey brothers get along. Right?
Okay.
Like they just spent $100 million on the Kelsey brothers.
Probably get more than this.
Okay.
You only get 50, but it's going to be an easy job, right? They seem like
yeah,
they get
but
along just fine.
Until
right?
it's not an easy job.
They seem like it'll be simple. Or you could work a $250,000 a year job.
What?
Where your
Those
responsibility is to make sure the Gallagher brothers get along ahead of their big reunion tour next summer. Now, if you're Griffin's age, that might not mean anything to you. You might be like
wrestlers.
Yeah, right. Were they wrestlers?
Well,
that sound like a tag team.
Sorta.
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes they are. Griffin, if you would pull it up over there, it's too long of a video. My favorite moment of Gallagher lore was the MTV Unplugged episode.
Oh my gosh!
For those that are unaware, Noel and Liam Gallagher, of course, the brothers that founded Oasis,
Maybe.
They hate each other. It is a blood feud.
Right.
That has existed for forever. They were scheduled to do MTV's Unplugged. Liam Gallagher got there and said, nah, not feeling it. Said, my throat hurts. Not going to do it. So Noel Gallagher said, well, I guess I'll just sing all the songs. Liam Gallagher decided to sit on the balcony during the taping of MTV Unplugged.
And crush him.
And heckle him the entire time. Like British soccer hooligan heckling.
Gotcha.
Like, effing wanker, effing, like,
while
while he was taping a television show.
While he was singing Wonderwall.
Yes.
And not as well as Liam, by the way.
No, but he actually, like...
Yeah, he's an okay singer.
And by the way, like, listening back to it, I was like, wow, that was even better
he's
than I
not
remembered
terrible.
it was. Liam then was so mad that Noel didn't suck that he then stopped the show and demanded they allow him to sing instead. Because he didn't want...
It was crazy.
He hated his brother so much that he hated the idea that Noel was going to be getting positive press for his performance.
It was crazy.
And
to their credit, they ran with it.
And that was when they were together.
Yeah, right.
And that was when things were good. Right. Then they spent 15 years persona non grata. 15 years.
For those of you who go to Loyola, that means they didn't really talk.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I couldn't even get into Loyola.
Well,
yeah.
we could have helped you with that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about Loyola University, of course.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's what we're
not
talking
Blakefield.
about. Technically, I think I could get into Loyola University, but not then, only now. 15 years later, they are getting back together.
Which one is more broke than the other? I mean, it's the only reason they're doing it, right?
Neither the Flying Birds nor BDI was particularly successful, so I'm going to guess that they're both
broke,
similarly broke, and that's the reason why this is happening.
Okay.
But today, they're fine. Today. Give them time. So again...
Well, here's what I would say in Liam's defense. What you don't know, and I don't know, is he what's his personal life like? Is he still hopped up on warm Pepsi and all the other stuff he used to be on, or is he on the straight and narrow? Because that's really what drove him. He had a horrible drinking problem and a horrible drug problem. So that's what drove him. So is that cleaned up? If it's cleaned up, they might be able to get together.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Bet. Why don't you go ahead and bet?
I don't know that I'd do that either.
Sort of what I'm asking you for.
I don't know if I'd do that
and
either.
again, if you can't, you don't get the money. You lose the job.
Oh, I'm going with the Kelce's, by the way.
You're going with you're taking the $50,000.
Because that's an easy.
It's an easy gig.
They like one another.
You can pick up some work on the side in order to make up for the money that
they
you've
like
lost.
one, and that's tax-free 50, or is that taxed?
I think it's
well, if she wins, we know what it'll be.
It's a great point.
It'll be
all
a
of it.
freebie,
Yep,
right?
all of
Everything's free. You can be illegal and get a free house.
That's where we're going. That's
Just
what
hang
we're,
on. It's all going to be free on November 6th.
That's what you're going to hang your hat on over there. All right. What about you? What about you? See, Griffin doesn't know any better.
So
you should go back and listen to
if
Maybe and What's the Story Morning Glory.
So if I accomplish this for 1 year, I get $250,000.
Yeah, but you're
saying this is an impossible task.
I don't believe it to be possible.
It's like getting
also
it's like getting Jerry Matters.
There's no prorated if I keep them together for like 3 months.
No, you got it. You got to work for a year.
Then
You got to get him through next summer.
This is like getting Ginger to sleep with Gilligan.
Again, you're saying a lot of things that he's got no.
Well, that's true
it's
too.
Just
right.
Like you could be saying it.
Marianne, maybe.
She
was kind of homely.
Marianne was gorgeous. What are you talking about?
But she could have used a guy.
Oh.
Ginger didn't need any men. You had the professor chasing after her all the time. No one knew. Thurston Howell III.
Oh, love
sneaking around.
Love you.
Sneaking around to Ginger, saying, how much would it take?
Is that to try to get all? Was his wife still invited or
no?
No, just okay. All right, fair enough. You're.
I mean, it sounds like I have to go with the Kelce's. Like, if I want to make any
I think
money
so
here.
too.
I thought he was going to take a shot at it.
I was trying to, but you guys are telling me there's no. Yeah,
you're going to fail.
There's no possible way.
Matt Gardner says he loves a challenge.
But they are. So they're getting together for this reunion thing.
Yes, that's happening.
So
allegedly.
how's that? Okay, so everyone's skeptical.
Is the guitar player the same guy that was there before?
No one seems to care.
No one knows.
Anybody else is in. Like you want to go see the Gallaghers. That's the point of all of this.
Well, yeah, but I mean the band was really, really good. But yes, Sure.
We'll see. I'm afraid that my power cord may have just crapped out. Like one of these kinks in the cord that I've done over the years.
Your laptop is not. It's just not charging at all.
Yeah, not charging at all and no longer working. Which I got to tell you is not great for what I do for a living. Not
you need a new cord.
Great.
At
Thank
least,
you.
At least you're not.
You know those are cheap.
Well,
you know
the cords are now the cords for mine because I have a MacBook Pro from 2015. The cords for mine are like $450.
Yep.
Because they just want you to buy a new machine.
Yep, exactly right.
Right.
Exactly.
I think they don't make my cord anymore.
I'm pretty sure they don't.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the case. You have anything else you want to say about Oasis? This is
No, just looking forward to. Where did you say they were going? Philly? No, New York.
New York.
Rutherford, East Rutherford's
According
closest.
to John from Little Rock.
Well, he
says
doesn't
so.
know anything.
Great. There you go.
Democrat. I'll
like it's a dirty word. Like it's just a lib, bro. Just a lib.
I would go to East Rutherford.
I don't know. Like I'd love to see him, but
You wouldn't go to East Rutherford to see him?
maybe
I would.
Maybe
You want to see Bruce
Maybe.
in 2 weeks?
I am going.
Nice.
I am going.
Okay.
I'm going to that. I think I'm going to miss the Killers, which I'm bummed out.
Where is
about.
that?
That's at Merriweather.
When is that?
Not this Sunday. Next Sunday
Really?
is the Killers. I think I'm going to.
They have a new album? Or are they just out trying to make money?
I think that's what bands do because I don't think they make money on albums anymore.
Okay.
Because nobody buys albums.
Right.
So I think the only way to make money is to just keep touring.
Have you seen any of Bruce's recent set lists?
No, sure have. This is what he has.
No, I'm asking you. I haven't either.
Let's talk more about that documentary.
He was just in
Let's
Philly.
talk-
Yeah, right.
Let's talk more about that.
Okay, so
That
he was in
pretty
Philly.
Uh-huh.
Seeds, which is not a great opening song. Prove It All Night, love that song. My Love Will Not Let You Down, one of my favorites. Two Hearts, Darkness, Promised Land, Hungry Hearts Waiting on a Sunny Day, Reason to Believe, Atlantic City, Long Walk Home.
Somebody told me that they screwed something up during that show. Weinman told me that like they made there was a legitimate screw up during the Philly show.
Well, wouldn't he have high standards though? Like his.
No, but like they acknowledged.
Oh,
like
they
if you
did.
go to
Oh,
Little,
okay.
hang on a second.
Patty Scofield was not present.
say
Darlington
something?
County, Streets of Philadelphia, and the River were on the set list but not performed.
Oh man, what's going on with that? Stephen
weird.
Van Zandt. Hang on. There was a story
Okay.
from this show, and Stephen Van Zandt like acknowledged on Twitter that like they screwed up.
Okay.
Hang on.
Play the E Street Shuffle. I'm not a big fan of this set
All right.
list.
Chris in Philly tweeted, just got back from taking one of my boys to Bruce and the legendary E Street Band
Okay.
at CBP, Citizen Bank Park.
Yeah,
And
right.
it was one of the most joyful musical experiences of my life. At Stevie Van Zandt, what the heck were you guys laughing at during Two Hearts? And Stevie says, we effed it up. You witnessed a very rare E Street train wreck. No idea how it happened. Very unusual, very weird, but fun. So I don't know.
Well,
I don't
on
know
the
what-
set list, it says Two Hearts included a snippet of It Takes Two by Marvin Gaye and Kim Weston, ?
Okay.
That's what it says.
Maybe they weren't supposed to start playing another song, and they did. I don't know what happened.
Now, listen to this.
Oh, God.
Now, dude, this was a hell
This
of a
is
show.
on you for not booking more guests. That's
I
what
guess-
this is on.
I guess you're right.
This is
was
on
a great
you
show.
for not having more
This or like
Now,
you mean
in Pittsburgh.
structure.
Pittsburgh, Candy's Room, Adam Raised a Cain, Death to My Hometown, Ghost, Darkness, Promised Land, Spirit in the Night, Darlington County, If I Was a Priest, Youngstown, Long Walk Home, E Street Shuffle. This was a hell of a show.
I know some of those. So
This
yeah.
one I would have gone to.
I wish you would play some more of the Seeger session stuff. I love that. It's a different band.
How many
though.
Springsteen shows have you been to?
Me?
Yeah.
4.
Okay.
4. I'm
28.
not-
Wow.
I can't believe it's only 28.
Yep. 28.
Oh, God. I'm embarrassed by how many more times
Who
I've
have you
seen
seen the
Dave,
most in your life?
the Dave Matthews Band.
Oh, you have? How many
For-
times you
don't
think?
for like a decade I went like 10 times a summer.
Okay.
Like the number is it might not be it's possible it's not triple digits,
Okay.
but it is
Up there.
very close.
This is probably the first summer my wife and I, haven't gone to see him. We just we just didn't
I
get.
think I've seen him once in the last decade.
Yeah, we've gone every summer, and we like going up to Camden, and they always play a weekend in Camden. You can't go to Camden during the week. It's
yeah, it's hell.
Right, but on weekends It's 2 hours. It's easy. Yeah. We've always gone for the Saturday show at Camden. We just didn't get there this year. Camden's a nice venue. Camden itself, not so much.
Yeah,
but the venue's pretty good.
It's fine. It's fine. All right, you got anything else that you prepared? Or
what are you doing? I got to leave?
Oh,
I get paid till noon.
Is it not noon?
Can I scoot out?
This is what happens when I can't see my computer.
Well, so I think there was a tweet last week. It was like, if you could have stats on something in your life, to know the exact number, what would it be? So, like, if you knew
how many hamburgers you've consumed in your
like
life?
that. Yeah, how many pizzas have you eaten?
I would not want to know how much money I've spent on the Dave Matthews Band in my life. That would be a depressing. I would not.
Yeah.
I would not. I don't want to know.
I'm that way with golf.
I'm
well over.
What would be? This is a good question though. What would be a stat?
How much beer have I drank? Or my number's probably still low, but
what would be a stat that I would want to know?
How many?
Want to know or not want to know?
No. What would be a stat that you would want to know? What would be one that you would want to just for your?
How many hours of sleep? That's boring.
That's not. What are you gonna do with that? Like, what are you gonna do with that?
I sleep a lot.
Yeah, right. I'm killing it over here. Look at.
I was right.
Look
How
at
many girls have you said? I think you and I could be something special, and she said, "Yeah, probably not."
No, I don't think I want to know that.
How much do you want?
I don't think I want to know that. Why would I want to know that? What good's gonna come from?
I know I've only known you for about 2 weeks, but I just feel like we really got something.
All right, I swear to God, if one more person, I'm not doing this. I'm sick of it.
I just feel like we're in love. I know it seems weird.
Do you understand how stressed I am?
How many hours of radio have you done in your life?
Oh my gosh,
that would be an interesting. How
about good radio?
2.
Good radio.
I don't even remember.
Or you just been cumulative?
I'm pretty sure at some point.
I got to go to the fan right now. Anything going on over there I need to know
You're
about?
taping your show?
Yeah, for Labor Day. I'm not coming in Labor Day Sunday. I got stuff going on.
The playoffs.
It's a holiday.
They're crowning a champion.
I know.
And you're not going to.
You know who's going to win, don't you?
Who?
X.
Oh, Xander Schauffele.
He's going to win.
So are you going to do the show like talking about how he won?
Mm-hmm.
He's going to record a show today recapping Xander Schauffele's win.
And then hope he wins. If he doesn't win at like 3:30, I'm going to say, Chuck, cut that off.
Maybe don't run that if you don't mind.
Cut that off.
Sorry, we can't give you a lead-in audience. We're off on Sunday. Yeah, we can't.
I'm doing it just because I've got a contract to fulfill.
Yeah, we told him we'd work Monday. We're like, we'll go in on
nice.
Monday. We're not working Sunday.
Okay.
It's fantasy draft day.
Well, have a great Labor Day.
It's a holy day. All right, Drew'sMoneyDish.com. As always, 10 years. Do you have anything? You want to plug anything going on at Drew'sMoneyDish.com?
No, I mean, we're there.
There you go.
Come on by.
Find out how Yannick Skinner's doing.
Oh, I can't believe I did that.
In the U.S.
I called Matt Bowman Mike Bowman, too.
It's been a banner.
Well, I thought that was a good bit. That was,
I don't know. He was man of the match last night. You should show some respect.
Matt Bowman.
Whoever he is.
Yeah, right.
I was like, I don't know who the guy is, but he's the man of the match.
Did you really make him man of the match?
He came in when the game was at stake and locked it down.
Well,
okay. What? Did you see? He got 5 outs.
He did do that.
Which is 5 more than when they brought Matt Bowman.
Somebody's got to do something with Perez's socks. It drives me insane.
It's working. Stop.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I
Don't
guess
mess with
you're right.
anything.
What about the hat thing?
Oh, I'll punch him in the face. Catch the ball with a glove. So you don't get hurt.
You might be right.
Another banner week, pal. Just another.
It was so much fun, wasn't it?
Another.
How about the dude for the Marlins who didn't run to first base?
It's unbelievable.
And the Cubs manager called it.
Craig Counsell saw it immediately, but he didn't want to give it away. So do you have the video of this? Is it? Okay.
It's hilarious.
So Craig Counsell noticed. I don't remember who it was. He gets walked, and he starts walking to first base.
Well, the Oriole guy was coming in for him, wasn't he?
Was that who it was that was coming to pinch run?
No. Pache.
Pache. Yeah, technically. Pache was coming in to
He
pinch
was with us for a week.
Day. Not even. Pache is coming in to pinch run for him. He never finishes getting to first base. He stops like 3 feet short of first base and turns around to go back to the dugout as Pache comes in to run for him. Craig Counsell notices it immediately.
It's hilarious.
But doesn't want to give it away. Like, he doesn't want to alert the guy that you forgot to touch first base. So Craig Counsell, just sort of strides out very calmly, walks to the umpire, and says, "Hey, did you see what I saw? Did I?" And then they can't. They're trying to scream at the pitcher, "Throw the ball to first base, throw it." And it's taking forever for the pitcher to recognize what's going on.
Right.
But then whoever the cat was, I guess by that point Pache was already on the base, so he couldn't go back out and touch first base. So they got the out. The Marlins gave up an out on a walk.
How about the bunt walk-off Little League World Series? After everything the Chinese team did in the field.
By the way, Chinese Taipei, not China.
Okay.
Chinese
sorry.
Taipei.
Sorry, gotcha. Yeah, I know how you guys get.
Yeah, it's how we guys get. They're two
right.
very different places.
All right. But how about the fact that they were impeccable in the field?
Okay, so here's the thing. I certainly do not watch the Little League World Series. But I went into the gym on Monday, and my buddy Bruce at the gym is like, dude, did you watch the game yesterday? I'm like, yeah, it was a bummer. The Orioles lost. Like,
no, not that game.
He's like,
the
no.
game against the Chinese team.
And Chinese Taipei. And I said, no, but I'm familiar with how it ended. And he's
China win?
He's Jesus Christ. He's raving about the catcher. He's just like, that kid is unbelievable.
Right.
And I'm like, the one that threw the ball away at the end of the game? He's like, you won't believe it.
Their defense
was amazing.
Their defense
all
was
game.
unbelievable.
And then just threw the ball away at the end. Threw it away.
Walk-off bunt.
Walk-off bunt. Go USA. USA.
The thing that with Pache at first base, that might be the most hilarious baseball moment since Froworth tried to intentionally walk Miguel Cabrera.
That wasn't Froworth.
100% it was Froworth.
He wasn't. No, it was not. It was Todd Williams. Froworth was not on the team.
No, you're wrong.
Dude, you're going to be embarrassed.
Okay. I mean, maybe I will be.
A second.
Okay.
Who? Miguel Cabrera, intentional walk home run.
No, it wasn't a home run. It was a single or a double.
All right. Yeah, that's right. Intentional walk.
Yeah, you know everything.
Shut up. I know it wasn't Todd Froworth.
Okay, maybe it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Okay.
The late Todd Froworth.
Todd Froworth died?
Yeah, he died.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
All right. Who was it? Who was the pitcher? It was Todd Williams, like I said. Yes. Nice call.
I don't think it was.
What does it say on the back of that shirt?
Fake news.
Yeah, that's what you got.
Doctored, just like the shooting. Just like the shooting.
I'm really sorry that
Doctored.
I'm sorry we can't do this more frequently.
Doctored.
You sure you don't want to start coming in on Mondays?
Grabbed his ear. Put that pill in his ear.
Band-aid. Now everybody's got to speak. Everybody's got to speak behind bulletproof. For weeks, there was no bulletproof grass. All of a sudden, they start losing in the polls, and he's like, remind people they tried to shoot you. Speak behind bulletproof glass.
Right.
That's hilarious.
All right. Listen, you guys, it's been a pleasure.
Has it? For who?
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Anything else?
I'll come back in. I'm going to do my rap music next time.
I don't think there's going to be a next time. It's Drew Forrester, Drew'sMorningDish.com.
I'll do my rap music for you. Somehow I don't think that's
going to have to worry about that.
I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah. All right. God bless you. See you.
If you missed it, Stan the Fan, Charles, Ross Grimsley, Luke Jackson, they got together on Monday. And, of course, you can find that show right now. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports. Click on the videos tab. Go to YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline, PressBoxOnline.com/video. Come back in, tidbit and tubular to wrap it up. Maybe my computer will work. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
Experience the thrill of the Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory, coming October 17th to the 20th. See the world's best equestrians compete in the sport of eventing, the ultimate test of horse and rider. Enjoy a weekend festival featuring locally sourced food at the Fresh Food Fest, a beer, wine, and spirits showcase, shopping, and fun for all ages. Check out the Maryland Corgi Cup, Interactive Kids Corner, and more. It's the place to be in October. Visit MarylandFivestar.us for tickets.
Treat yourself and taste the Baltimore tradition that is the legendary Costas Inn. Hey, it's Stan the Fan Charles. For over 50 years, the Costas Inn has been a Baltimore original, dishing out their legendary fat, delicious, award-winning crab cakes and steamed crabs. It's crab season, so sit back and crack some crabs while watching the Birds pursue another divisional title on Costas' 15 TVs. On Monday night, the Costas Inn offers their half-pound jumbo lump crab cake with 2 sides for under $30. So head on down to the Costas Inn today at 4100 North Point Boulevard or visit them at CostasInn.com.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Baltimore's Classic 5 golf courses make golf fun and affordable. All 5 local courses, Pine Ridge, Mount Pleasant, Forest Park, Carroll Park, and Clifton Park, are challenging and fun for players of all skill levels. Book your tee time today at classic5golf.com.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin, and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
The votes were all counted, and the results are official. Royal Farms was named #1 for food in the USA Today 10 Best poll, receiving more votes than any other convenience store chain in America. The next time you want to get some good food fast, doesn't it make sense to go to Royal Farms? Voted best in the USA and home of world-famous chicken. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
The latest edition of Pressbox is available now. On the cover, Bo Smolka profiles Ravens star safety Kyle Hamilton, detailing his path from growing up the son of a basketball player to choosing football, being overlooked in the draft, and turning into a defensive unicorn as a playmaking Swiss Army knife in the NFL. Also inside, meet college football players from all of the area's D1 programs and some of the area's college soccer standouts as well. Pressbox is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores. Or you can read the entire issue at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
One of the things that's definitely wrong with this country is that this dude still has a job somehow, some way. Glenn Clark.
All right, winding down here on a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program. Again, get me your responses at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. Someone is picking up a $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill. All right, you want to go ahead and do a tidbit?
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
All right, very good. What you got?
I have a betting stat on the Orioles, actually, from Jeff Michaels on Twitter. So he gave this one out yesterday before the game. So since 2023, when the Orioles, or at least May of 2023, when the Orioles are an underdog of plus 130 or larger, they were 14-2 going into last night. They are now 15-2. So just been a very impressive run as dogs of plus 130 or higher.
I imagine like Albert Suarez starts maybe.
So he actually has them all in there. Let's see. The starters are obviously Irvin against Flaherty yesterday. I'm seeing a lot of Kramers on here, some Kyle Gibsons on here.
All right.
There was a couple when Bradish going up against like Glasnow and Garrett Cole. Let's see who else. And then Jack Flaherty against Kevin Gausman last year. That was the only good Jack Flaherty starts.
Okay.
A couple of John Meanses as well. There's definitely a few Cole Irvins in there, but yeah. So when the Orioles are larger, considerate underdogs.
How about that? Are they dogs tonight? That's Corbin Burns. They're
probably not. We'll see. It's gonna be Cade Povich and Bobby Miller. I think I don't know if they made it, if they announced it, but I think it's lined up to be a Bobby Miller for the Dodgers. So yeah, we'll see the next night. Also last night, the Orioles did indeed, with Ryan O'Hearn's home run, they reached the 200 home run marker.
Yeah, that's right.
For the 13th time, it comes from Jake Rill, the 13th time in Orioles history that they have reached the 200 home runs in a season mark. Last time that they did this was 2019. They hit 213 home runs. In 2019,
they were bad.
They were bad.
Yeah.
And they reached home run number 200 on September 22nd of that year. Can you go ahead and read me the lineup of
for F's sake,
of the Orioles on September 22nd, 2019?
Cedric.
Well, they were playing the Mariners. Cedric was why was he not in the lineup? Oh, he was not in the lineup.
Okay.
Was there a lefty or something? Marco Gonzalez was starting.
Trey Mancini.
Trey Mancini also not in the lineup.
How about the dynamic duo of Renato Nunez and Rio Ruiz?
Nunez was starting. Ruiz came in to spell him later. So you have he was batting fourth, playing third. Renato Nunez.
Okay. So I'm 1 for 4.
Yes.
Cool. Santander?
Santander was not starting.
Hayes.
Did he come in later? Yes, Austin Hayes was batting second. He was playing center field. Batting second, Austin Hayes.
Oh, God. All right. I'll go to some of my bread and butters. How about Stevie Wilkerson?
Stevie Wilkerson did not start. He did come in as a defensive replacement for the left fielder.
It's a late September game from a bad team. My God, who might be in this lineup? Dwight Smith?
Yes, Dwight Smith.
Hey!
He was who Stevie Wilkerson came in as a defensive replacement later. He won after going 0 for 3, batting sixth. Yeah.
Playing where?
He was in left field. Dwight Smith. Dwight Smith Jr. That is.
Oh, thank you. I gotta try to come up with
when
it.
he was on like the opening day lineup that year. I was like,
yeah,
who?
Yeah. Well, I was like that with a few folks. So I don't remember which year. 2020 was Iglesias, so 2019 was VR?
Yes, Jonathan VR playing shortstop, batting third. This was a 2-1 Orioles
People
win.
watched this.
Did they?
Like,
this was a Sunday.
someone did.
This one probably not. So it was
because
a Sunday
it was a Ravens
game. Yeah, it was a Sunday game. 1 o'clock start.
So I need a second baseman.
This was before the pitch time. It was a 2-hour, 10-minute game.
Who the hell would be their second
before
baseman?
the pitch timer.
I need a catcher for sure. Is that Severino?
No.
Is it Sweet Jesus?
Wait.
Jesus Sucre.
Oh no, not Sweet Jesus Sucre. He is still in the bigs.
Is he really?
Or at least he played this year. I thought. Hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, he played 7 games for the Reds this year.
7 games for the Reds this year.
And then he played for 3 different teams last year: the Giants, the Dodgers, and the Rockies. Did an NL West tour.
Giants, Dodgers, and Rockies.
I don't think you should focus on that. That's not going to help you. He played 1 game with the Giants.
I'm going to start going through. I do have a Rolodex of old catchers.
2 plate appearances with the Giants.
So I don't. It's not Chance Cisco, is it?
Not Chance Cisco.
Is it Wins? Austin Wins? That's
Austin
who it is?
Wins. Austin Wins was starting catching this day. Batting 8th.
Okay. I still need a first baseman.
He hit the 200th home run.
Oh, did he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God bless.
This historic Orioles team.
Oh, God. That can't still be Chris Davis.
It was, in fact.
Shut up.
Chris Davis.
What year was that?
Chris Davis was batting 176 at the minute. And he hit his 11th home run in the 7th inning off of Marco Gonzalez. Did that break a scoreless tie? Or no, they both scored in the first. Okay, so that was this was proved to be the winning home run.
And a second baseman, a DH, and a right fielder.
Mm-hmm.
Second baseman.
Second baseman led off. It was a lefty on the mound.
That's not going to do it.
Who killed lefties?
I don't know.
It was an infielder.
Thank you.
On the 2019 Orioles.
Sure.
He batted 300 this year.
He batted 300?
Yeah, he hit left. He did. Ironically, he did not get a hit today on this day, but
he batted 300.
In fact, he was batting 310 on September 22nd.
I was going to guess Richie Martin, but there's no chance it was Richie Martin.
It was not Richie Martin. I think he was left-handed too.
All right, who was it?
Really?
Yeah.
Hanser Alberto.
Hanser Alberto.
Hanser Alberto.
I tapped out of the 2019 Orioles.
Raked against lefties. If there's one thing you should know about the 2019 Orioles, Hunter Alberto.
There's nothing. The
Ate
answer
up
is there's
lefties.
0 things you should know about the 2019 Orioles.
In fact, they hit over 200 home runs. You know that now.
Right fielder and a DH.
Right
fielder and a DH.
Yeah, DH. This was his last year. In
Is
Baltimore.
DJ Stewart?
DJ Stewart's playing right field.
There we go.
Yeah, batting 9th.
And
then your DH went 0 for 2, drew a walk.
DH.
Just a miserable season this was.
Miserable season for this guy.
Yes.
I don't know.
And this was only 3 years off of him hitting 47 home runs.
For the Orioles?
For the Orioles in 2016, he was an All-Star.
Trumbo?
Mark Trumbo.
I didn't realize he was still an Oriole. In 2019.
I didn't either. Apparently, he only played 12 games in 2019.
Yikes. All right, very good. I did not realize that.
So there you go. On the mound?
Means.
Yes, John Means. Went 7 innings dueling with.
If it wasn't John Means, we could have
Gonzalez.
been here a little bit.
And then getting a 2-inning save.
Was of course.
It was a lefty, another lefty.
A lefty. Was Blyer a lefty?
It was. Richard Blyer got his 4th save of the season.
How about that? Very good. All right, let's get totally tubular.
There is a place where tradition, family, and community gather, where the aspirations of talented young competitors takes root, and where the crossroads of history, culture, and renewal come together. This spring, experience America's newest and most innovative ballpark, Meritus Park in Hagerstown, Maryland, home of the Atlantic League Flying Boxcars. Plan your getaway today. You're welcome in Hagerstown, Maryland.
All right, here's what's coming up tonight, totally tubular-wise. Of course, the Orioles indeed continue the series with the Dodgers, 10-10 on MASN 2. I believe it's also on MASN after the Nationals game ends, so I think you might be able to find it on both. Corbin Burns, Walker Buehler. It's also in the rest of the country on MLB Network, so you got that going for you, which is nice. U.S. Open coverage on ESPN or ESPN Plus. I'm watching Palabadosa and Taylor Townsend right now. Francis Tiafoe and Alexander Shevchenko, the second match of the day on Arthur Ashe Stadium. So getting the big stadium for Frankie Tiafoe. MASN Yankees Nationals 6:45, MLB Network, Royals Guardians at 1:10, Astros Phillies 4:05, Blue Jays Red Sox 7:10, and locally the late night game is Mets Diamondbacks. ESPN Plus Athletics Reds 6:40, MLB TV the free game is Rays Mariners at 4:10. The Paralympics opening ceremony today at 2 o'clock on the USA Network. Monumental's got Mystics and Sky at 8 o'clock, and TBS for AEW Dynamite at 8 as well. Anything non-sports wise?
What time do you say Coco's going?
Coco is tonight, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So is she prime time?
Yes.
Nice. All right. There's a Toby Keith special on NBC at 9 o'clock.
May he rest in peace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. A bunch of country artists will be there.
I actually liked some Toby Keith songs. I'm not gonna lie. He was kind of cartoonish, but
was he the?
He did the stick a boot in your. Yeah, he did Red Solo Cup. Stick a boot in your ass. He did that one, and it was kind of cartoonish at that point. But how do you like me now? This song was a jam.
MasterChef at 8 on Fox. New episode of Bad Monkey, and that's really it. On Hulu, there's After Baywatch, which is like a little docu-series thing about just Baywatch, essentially.
Okay.
In the 90s.
It certainly had a role in my life. Whoo, boy.
After Baywatch, Moment in the Sun. So it looks at, I guess, some people worked out for where they became stars afterwards. Some people they were just Baywatch.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. That's about right. Donna D'Errico, for example. I don't know what's going on in Donna's life.
Wonder if she's in it.
Don't know.
Maybe.
Coco is indeed first on Ash tonight, so 7 o'clock for Coco. All right, and then Djokovic after her. Very good. Thanks today to. Oh, don't forget to pick up this print issue of Press Box, available for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms at hundreds of locations around town where you get Press Box. Read it all, PressBoxOnline.com. There's Kyle Hamilton on the cover. Thanks to Drew, I guess. Thanks to Jorge Castillo from ESPN. Thanks to Michael Fabiano. We'll get that up in the greatest hits section of the.
Oh my God, it's so good.
All right. This is on me. It's not on you. Tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Anything tomorrow?
Joe Serpico will join us tomorrow for our fantasy segment.
Oh, we got to do our first picks of the year.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So we have. James
decided on the games.
James Revere. We'll do that today. James Revere is in. He's in, and you said Serpico is going to be in.
Joe is in.
Do we double dip with Joe and have him do the first picks instead? Because we just had Ken on the other day.
Yeah, I guess we could do that.
Talk to Ken. Make sure he's not offended by that. Because we do bring Ken on every Thursday. I didn't want to keep doing that.
Okay.
But, yeah, Serpico's in, Revere's in. I think Dr. Nick is out.
Okay.
You're going to send the picks anyway to Andrew Stecca. You're gonna send him.
Okay.
All right. We'll see what happens. If he is out, we have replacements. If he's in, we have a larger group, which I like. But we do need also real guests tomorrow. Like, we do need to do that.
Yeah. Probably. Yes. I agree.
It's a tentative.
Are we doing the North Dakota State Colorado game?
I don't think so.
Why not?
Because we'll see.
Please.
We'll see. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including the Maryland 5-Star Live Casino and Hotel. Visit Hagerstown in Washington County, Cruise, Maryland, Ocean City, Easy Pass, Royal Farms, the Ed Block Courage Awards, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, the Costas Inn, MSAA, the Baltimore Orioles, your local Toyota dealer, BuyAToyota.com. Oh, we have Armin Katayan's joining us tomorrow.
Yes, we have, and Joe Unitas as well.
Yeah, John Unitas' son. They both have books.
Mm-hmm.
We got I had to do a lot of reading this week. Not a fan. Not a fan.
You got so much smarter.
It's a lie. A lot of I was reading the one book. I'm like, crap, I got to read this other book. Spread that out next time.
I know.
Right. Thanks to the Baltimore's Classic 5 golf courses as well. Did I read the sponsors or did I get distracted by? I didn't do that.
We're doing the Towson game?
Shut up.
Okay. Yes?
I got to finish the show,
all right.
Griffin.
This was part of the show.
Jesus. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners. Baltimore's Classic 5 golf courses, the Maryland 5-Star, Live Casino and Hotel. Visit Hagerstown in Washington County, Cruise, Maryland, Ocean City, Easy Pass, Royal Farms, the Ed Block Courage Awards, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Costas Inn, the MSAA, Baltimore Orioles, your local Toyota dealer, BuyAToyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Wednesday evening. Go Birds. Go Frankie Tiafo. Duke sucks.